All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to Press X Podcast. Hope everybody's doing well today. Thank you so much for joining me. We have PlayStation Pete. He sent this super chat way earlier. I guess he couldn't contain his excitement. And he says, I got the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Platinum. I sent a photo to your X account. I think I did see that photo, PlayStation Pete. Big congratulations, Pete. That's getting the platinum for Rebirth. If I'm not mistaken, that's one of the most difficult platinums to try and get. So, huge congratulations.
Holy shit.
You've been working on that for a long time. And I think he said he got it last night and it took him 336 hours, dude. 336 hours. My God. See, boss is here. Lady Gamer, Michael Lynch, what's going on? Michael Lynch with a super chat. He says, nobody recognizes my comment? Let me see. He says, I said Jerome in the house. I said Jerome in the house. Jerome in the house. I don't know. I don't recognize it, bro. Michael, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to disappoint, but I don't recognize it. What's up, Perfect Image? Martin? Yeah. You know what? I feel like it's ringing a vague bell, possibly. Like, I feel like I probably heard that at some point in my life, and if you showed it to me, I'd be like, oh, yeah. But, all right, boss, dude, can you give it, like, at least 15 minutes? My God. Lay down. Lay. He's like, whoa, what are you doing? Lay down, boy. Calm yourself, boy. Sometimes I just feel like I have to speak to boss like this. Ghetto God, what's up, man? JMR, Corey. He says, ladies and gentlemen, Landiga has arrived. Bro's feeling himself today. Oh, it's okay. That's Martin Lawrence. Yeah, he did have a show. You're right. He did have a show. I don't think I've ever seen it, though. I've seen like clips of it. But yeah, guys, thank you for joining me today. I just saw the footage of myself pressing boss down, and it's so funny. Holy shit. He was really looking at me like, whoa, what are you doing, bro? Make no mistake, he doesn't care. He's on the other side of the room now, bothering Leia. He's trying to fight Leia. At least I think that's what he's trying to do. Sheesh. And Corey the Legend. He says he has arrived, and with it, he comes bearing gifts. He drops 5 membership gifts for you guys. Corey, thank you so much, man.
I'm no hero.
He's no
Never
hero.
was. Never will be.
But he does good work. He does good work for the community and the channel. So he kicks us off today with the first 5. We also have Johnny Gaming. Do you guys hear this? Is that coming through the mic? Like, geez, man, what's going on? Sorry, Johnny Game. You could hear that? Oh, he's starting shit. Leia's going berserk on his ass. She's getting tired of it. Johnny Gaming, a member for 11 months. He says, I just beat Death Stranding 2. What an ending and game. I love the tomorrow reveal. I was watching your spoiler cast earlier. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Johnny. And it's awesome that you were actually able to go back and watch the spoiler cast. I hope more people do that as they finish Death Stranding. Yeah, incredible game. Certainly my game of the year. I played a bunch of Death Stranding yesterday. I was playing this morning. Man, the grind for the platinum is no joke. It is no joke. and but I'm still enjoying it. I'm enjoying my time. I think I'm over 80 hours in now. I have about 7 or 8 facilities 5-starred, so I still got some time. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to get a little bit nervous that somehow I'm not going to be able to platinum this game before Metal Gear Solid comes out. But yeah, man, enjoy that spoiler cast. It was a fun one, and I'm glad to hear you really enjoyed the game, Johnny. Um, yeah, he said he wants food now. Michael heard it too. Michael Warner says, "Buenas tardes, a todos." Okay, I'm not. That's as far as I'm going. I don't know. I don't know what bro said. Michael, you're gonna have to speak English, man. Oh yeah, that's true. The Hell Is Us demo is out. That's true. I might have to give that a try. I don't know though, man. I got to really focus up for Death Stranding. Like it's getting to a point where if I don't get really serious about finishing Death Stranding and go on the grind, I am not going to be finished by the time MGS comes out, and that's going to be a problem. No one's talking about Lost Soul Aside. It is unfortunate. There's very minimal conversation. I don't really see any. I don't see anything. Boss is still going, bro. He's still attacking Leia. Come on, Leia. Come up here. Come on. You're safe up here. Here we go. Just chill with your catnip for now. And we have Chaos Theory member for 2 months. He says, I can't wait for Halo to come to PlayStation. I just want a physical case. LOL. Also, I beat Ghost of Tsushima. I gave the uncle the, we'll just say the bad ending. Awesome. Yeah, great to hear that you finished Ghost of Tsushima, man. Yeah, the ending of that game is awesome. The choice that they give you. Yeah, I am curious to see like if they do something similar at all with Ghost of Yote, because choice was such an important factor in Tsushima. But we're going to talk about Halo possibly coming to PlayStation. We have a really interesting collaboration between Sony, Arrowhead, Helldivers, Xbox, and Halo that is apparently a thing that's going to happen. So we'll talk about that. We're also going to be talking about, you mentioned Ghost of Tsushima, which is a PS4 game. We're going to be talking about PS4 support coming to an end, seemingly. Although I have to let Luna in. Hold on. Luna, what's up? When does Lost Soul Aside come out? Michael, Lost Soul Aside comes out at the end of this month. I think it comes out the same day as Metal Gear Solid or the day after. Oh my God, Leia's going crazy, bro. She's trying to get in the bag. I didn't think she would start behaving like this. I thought she was just going to hang out with it. She's like, give me the fucking drugs. Give me the fucking drugs. Get them out. I need them. Should have just named this cat a cat stream. Boss Leia and Luna stream. You did see that video earlier, Lady Gamer. Mike said, good afternoon to everyone. And to those who love video games, I hope you still have love for it. Thank you for the translation, Ray. I appreciate that, man. You admit the choice only made you think of Mass Effect 2. Yeah, it seems. I mean, there's a bunch of games coming out in a really short period of time, man. This is why I'm a little bit stressed that I'm still playing Death Stranding 2 and trying to platinum it. Lady Gamer, you still have a cold and a cough, in bed feeling like crap. Ah, that sucks. Yeah, it really sucks. My throat's been bothering me a little bit. I don't know why. But yeah, being sick is the worst. Definitely got to rest up. Fireball saying Mafia is great, enjoying a story of how it all began in the series. I want to get around to playing Mafia. Bro, Leia's like, I'm not having any of it. But Expedition 33 ending choices are wild too. They are. Yeah, true. I don't know why sometimes I forget that you could make there's a choice you can make at the end of that game. I don't know why I forget. You're right. Whoa, Michael, what do you do? Michael's talking to Ray, asking him about his tongue or something. What's going on? Whoa. Let's calm down now, Michael. Calm down. The Smokey Davis says, I'm just coming here halfway through your last stream. Glad your blood pressure is returning to normal. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what got into me. It happens. Sometimes I go full tilt. Blood pressure rises. Ray says he speaks, he reads, and he writes in English and Spanish, and currently learning Japanese. Damn. That's good stuff, Ray. It's good stuff. It's good to know if I need anything translated from Spanish. I got you here. Maybe Japanese in the future as well. What do I mean PS4 support will end, like on the console itself? No, there's like a report basically saying that most developers, including like live service developers, are going to be moving on from the PS4 starting next year, which is crazy because apparently the PS6 is a 2027 console. So it's like, now that the generation is practically over, now we might move on. You didn't make any progress on DS2 Platinum because of the Battlefield beta. That's understandable. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Battlefield returning this week. It's true. I throw some tantrums every now and again. I do. Digital Dude, Bane voice, the fire rises. The fire rises, brother. Does he say brother? Do you believe you are in charge? I can't do it well. I got it I was molded by it. That's what he says, right? Tom Hardy's Bane was awesome, but then turns out he was just a bitch. Yo, can we talk about that for a second? Can we talk about The Dark Knight Rises and how like that movie was awesome, but then the end was just like, what? Dude, one of the funniest clips. Have you guys ever seen this clip? It's the fight scene in The Dark Knight Rises, the end fight scene between Batman and Bane. And Bane like shoves him up against a pillar and then does like 4 punches, like 4 hooks back to back. And when I think he does 4 hooks, and after like the second or third hook, like Batman's just gone. Like Batman completely ducked out and like went away, and he just still punches the pillar for no reason. And I remember reading a comment on that clip, and it was like, when you input the wrong combo or some shit like that, or like when you have to finish out the combo before your next move. It was so funny. There's so many weird things about The Dark Knight Rises. It was awesome, but like the ending was just weird. I feel like the fight scenes between Bane and Batman could have been better. And then they reveal Bane is like, he's not actually nearly as scary as he seemed. And then the way Talia died or whatever was kind of weird, but generally speaking, I went to the midnight screening of that movie. By the way, I think that was like the last time I went to a midnight screening for a movie, so it's a good time. Some of the writing in that movie is awful. The cop knew Batman was Bruce Wayne just because of the look on his face. Still pissed about what Disney is doing to Marvel through Deadpool. For shame. What do you mean? What do you mean, Corey? Did you not like Wolverine and Deadpool? Petrov says The Dark Knight is great. I mean, the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy is great. I remember reading a report a while ago that apparently WB offered Christian Bale like $50 million or some crazy shit like that to return as Batman, and Bale's like, I'm good. You can respect it. He didn't just do it for the money. He could have. He could have. But it's interesting to think we could have seen Christian Bale in Zack Snyder's universe. That would have been weird. Interesting, but still weird. And we have Muhammad here with a super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, "Hi, MBG. What do you think you like more in multiplayer shooters, Battlefield 6 or Call of Duty? My name is pronounced Muhammad Salaloom. You got it wrong a few times. LOL. And I love the channel, by the way. Keep it up. Thank you. Yeah, I apologize. I think I'm just going to call you, or I think I said it wrong again. Mahmoud Saloom. Is that correct? Mahmoud Saloom? I'm sorry, man. Anybody who's been here for a little while knows when it comes to pronunciation, I'm awful. So I probably, he tells me the correct way to say it, and I still just absolutely obliterate it. But I do appreciate the super chat, and thank you for sticking around, even though I wrecked your name. But what do I like more in shooters? Do I like more of the, we're going to talk about that as well. Do I like more of the Call of Duty style or more of the Battlefield? I mean, if I go based on just sheer amount of hours put into a game, Call of Duty would win that. I've definitely put more time into Call of Duty over the years than I have Battlefield. But, I mean, it's tough. I feel like I like both, to be honest. I like both. I've always liked that Call of Duty had a more arcade-like feel, and it didn't feel like it was like weird to me when I think it was Modern Warfare 2019. They tried to put like a Battlefield-esque game mode, and I think it worked, but it just felt weird because it's like this is supposed to be Call of Duty. But yeah, man, I've always really, I think what I've liked about Battlefield better over the years is it really does an amazing job. Like every Battlefield game mostly has done a good job in making you feel actually immersed. Like if you really like put on a pair of headphones, switch on war tapes and the settings, and you just kind of really try to you play Conquest or something. I think it just does a really good job of getting you immersed, making you feel like you're really in some kind of large scale battle, and obviously the squad based gameplay. These are things that Call of Duty just simply doesn't do. And the few times that they tried to do it, I don't think that they've captured it nearly as well as Battlefield. Yeah, exactly. There's more sandbox elements. So I don't know. It really just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. But I do like both. I absolutely love my arcade, fast-paced shooter. I love playing like Search and Destroy, and being a little bit more competitive in Call of Duty. I like zombies. I don't take Call of Duty seriously. I'm not sure who does really anymore. I've always appreciated Call of Duty's campaigns, but if I want something that feels more like, like I actually want to take it a little bit more seriously and get a little bit more immersed in it, Battlefield definitely does that. And that's why I enjoyed the Battlefield 6 beta so much, because I feel like it's been so long since I played, a Battlefield game that really kind of like was like, whoa, like this feels really good. I think Battlefield Hardline had its shortcomings, but Battlefield 1 may have been the last time where I really felt like, holy shit, dude. You're on the battlefield and shit's going crazy around you. So I like both, truthfully. Wolverine and Deadpool was epic despite locking Ryan Reynolds out of editing. Disney adapted far too much. I hear an irksome move. I am curious to see what they do, because apparently like Fantastic Four is a good movie. Apparently, what was that movie called? I even forgot the name of it. The New Avengers. No, that's not what it was called. I think that's what they're supposed to be called, the New Avengers or whatever. But that other movie with like Harrison Ford as Red Hulk or whatever. Thunderbolts, thank you. Yeah, completely forgot the name. Apparently these movies are really good and they're just not doing well. And I feel like the last major success that Marvel had was Deadpool and Wolverine. So you really have to wonder like what they're going to do going forward. I mean, they have new Avengers movies in the works. So, Mr. B, you're thinking Battlefield's going to outsell Call of Duty this year? Interesting. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. I'm not convinced of that. I think Battlefield will do very well. I don't think it's going to be able to outsell Call of Duty. Mahmoud says, "You got it right this time. Thanks for your opinion." LOL. Yeah, I'll probably continue to destroy it, man. Maybe sometimes I'll get it right, sometimes I'll get it wrong. But thank you for the super chats. I do appreciate that support. Yeah, that's true. I mean, well, you're saying just because a game sells a lot of copies doesn't mean it's good. The problem is Call of Duty's not bad. I mean, I know people, people say, oh, Call of Duty's shit, Call of Duty's garbage. Call of Duty's literally, I mean, they're just talking about like the fundamentals of gameplay design. Call of Duty is not a poorly designed game. It actually just seems like people are just, they feel underwhelmed and just flat out disappointed by how much the theme of Call of Duty has changed, how much emphasis is placed on skins and the battle passes and the microtransactions, and how it just seems like even though the gameplay design is still there, it's also worth noting that the gameplay design has remained mostly unchanged since Call of Duty 4 back in 2007. So it's not that it's bad. It's just I think it's overdone. It's overdone. It's overly refined at this point, and it's very redundant. But anytime I play Call of Duty, it's like, yeah, it's still smooth. Still feels good to get a kill. The gunplay is very good. They still have the fundamentals down right, and I think because of that, it's why so many people still stick to it, because it's what they know. It's familiar, and they're not like breaking the game. You know what I mean, by trying to like completely flip it upside down. But Corey's got to go. He's got to get a refill. He needs more coffee. Actually, I need to drink my coffee. MBG, I think Black Ops 7 will sell substantially more than Battlefield 6. You say haters are going to hate. Well, I think the big thing that a lot of people are underestimating when we talk about Battlefield and Call of Duty this year is that Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is a direct sequel to Call of Duty Black Ops 2. And we haven't seen it yet. I mean, like, we haven't actually seen the proper reveal. The reason why I think people need to kind of like slow their roll a little bit is because Black Ops 2, in the eyes of the Call of Duty community, generally speaking, is the best Call of Duty ever. Like, that's the peak of Call of Duty. And so you definitely get this feeling with Black Ops 7 being a direct sequel to it, that they're going to try to channel a lot of what Black Ops 2 was. And if they successfully do that, I think people are definitely getting ahead of themselves, thinking that Call of Duty is not going to utterly dominate this year. I do think for the first time in a very long time, the Battlefield series poses some kind of threat. Maybe not a huge threat. Like, I don't think Activision or Treyarch or any of these developers, I don't think they're like, oh man, they're going to eat our lunch. It's over. No, I don't think it's anything like that. I think it's more subtle, where it's like, well, how many players could we potentially lose to Battlefield this year? Are we talking about 1 million? Are we talking about 3 million? What does that equate to financially? Like, ultimately, like, how much money are we going to lose to Battlefield? I think is the question that they're asking. And yeah, that's what competition will do. And that's not a bad thing. Because the one thing I will say is that, Activision can say whatever they want or feel however they want. They're taking notes. Like, they're paying attention to the response that Battlefield 6 is getting. And, next year's Call of Duty is apparently going to be Modern Warfare 4. That's the rumor. So don't be surprised if Battlefield really is as successful as it's seemingly going to be. Don't be surprised if next year with Modern Warfare 4, you see them kind of try to emulate and mirror a couple of the things that Battlefield has done, not gameplay wise necessarily, because again, as we established, Battlefield and Call of Duty are two different games gameplay wise, but just in terms of the overall aesthetic, maybe they will kind of dial down the silly skins and stuff like that. But I think Black Ops 7, the pre-order bonus skins leaked out for that game. I don't know if you guys saw this. I'm not going to show it just in case I don't want to risk getting in trouble. But you read the comments of what people are saying, and it's brutal. It's just absolutely brutal. People are clowning on it already. Where they're like, "What the hell is this?" And I looked at them, and I'm like, "Yeah, it looks not great." I'm not gonna lie. Granted, it's just one image. It's just pre-order skins. It doesn't necessarily indicate what the game's actually going to be like, but I don't know, man. Call of Duty just shouldn't be underestimated. I am rooting for Battlefield, though. Like, I want to see Battlefield not take Call of Duty down. Like, I don't think Call of Duty is going to get boot stomped, as some people are putting it. But I want to see another option rise up that, is fighting for my attention. There's no denying that Call of Duty has gotten way too complacent, man. Way too complacent. Again, fundamentally, they still have the mechanics down, but it's been rinse and repeat for a very, very, very long time. And Battlefield 6 may be the first thing to kind of force Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer Games to shake things up at least a little bit, to at least think about doing something different. Or not. Who knows? Maybe this will just be a situation where they are both in their own lanes. Let's ask the question, how many people are hyping up Battlefield but are still going to buy Call of Duty? They're going to buy both. How much overlap is there? I think there's quite a bit. And I think I might be one of those people. For me, honestly, one of the main reasons I'll still play Black Ops 7 is because, I play zombies a lot. I play zombies a lot with Mrs. MBG, and she really enjoys that. So, like, that is going to be a thing I do, right? But I played the Battlefield 6 beta, and I'm like, this game is incredible, and this feels amazing. I really want to play this too. If anything, I'm just worried about where I'm going to find the time to play all these games, because these are two multiplayer FPSs that are coming out within a month of one another, seemingly, on top of all the single player games that I want to play. I started the stream talking about how I'm struggling to make my way through Death Stranding 2 because like the platinum grind is insane. I want to play Metal Gear. I want to play Lost Soul Aside. I want to play Mafia. I'm going to be playing Ghost of Yotei, among others, So it's true what they say. These games are out here fighting for your time. They're fighting for your attention and fighting for your time. And yeah, Arc Raiders is coming October 30th. It's crazy, man. Silent Hill F. Oh my God. See, there are games I'm literally forgetting about. It's wild. Dying Light the Beast. Come on. This is insane. I think I'm like deleting some of these games out of my mind so I don't get overwhelmed. Because the moment I actually start to remember, like, whoa, hold on. Hell is Us is coming out. That could be a sleeper hit. Harlem, you're saying you don't buy Call of Duty or Battlefield type games? I've always been into both Call of Duty and Battlefield. I've been playing those games for so many years. You looked at PlayStation's YouTube channel and it has a Battlefield 6 banner. I think that they do have the marketing rights. Yeah, Gears of War Reloaded. I keep forgetting that that's coming at the end. I don't think I'm going to play that, but millions of people on PlayStation probably are. Lost Soul aside, jeez. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. This is why I feel like it's such a good thing that the new Mafia game is so short. I feel like you need these shorter games to kind of, like, I think Mafia's playtime is actually a solid selling point. MBG, remember the Battlefield 1 hype and how hated Infinite Warfare was? It had the most disliked YouTube video ever, yet it outsold Battlefield 1. Yes. Yes. Good call on that, Tarnished. I forgot that those games came out the same year. And you're right, dude. Battlefield absolutely dumped on Call of Duty marketing wise. And that's one of those instances where what you see on the internet is not, it's not indicative of what the reality is or will be. And if there was ever a year where Battlefield should have absolutely boot stomped Call of Duty, it should have been that year. Now, we could ask the question, how much did the Modern Warfare remaster that they announced alongside Infinite Warfare, how much did that change the outcome? Because I can say, I remember at that time for me, I thought Infinite Warfare looked like trash. And I was super stoked for Battlefield 1. But then when they announced the Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare remaster, I was like, no way. Like, they got me. And I think I put probably an even amount of time into Battlefield 1 and the Modern Warfare remaster. But I think there's a real possibility that if that Modern Warfare remaster was not announced and it was just Infinite Warfare alone, there's a possibility that Battlefield could have outsold it at that point. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I do know that if you wanted, the craziest thing about Modern Warfare Remastered is I remember Activision made it so that if you wanted access to that game, you had to buy Infinite Warfare. You had to buy like an $80 version of Infinite Warfare that came with MW Remastered. And I'm like, they're sly, man. They're like, we got to get those sales any way we can. I think Mafia is like 12 hours long, give or take. MBGM on Chapter 7 on Mafia starts super slow, but now it's amazing. That's definitely a game I want to play at some point. Yeah. I don't know when I'll get around to it, but I definitely want to play it. Peak maturity is realizing Battlefield 1 was a masterpiece. It was. Battlefield 1 was a masterpiece, dude. I mean, to make a World War I game that fun, impressive. Very impressive. MBG, I've been playing Liza P and Sims 4, but I don't think I would like Liza P. Yeah, if you're not into Souls-like games, Liza P might not be for you. Mrs. MBG still plays The Sims 4. Also, remember when EA released Titanfall and Battlefield weeks apart? Yeah, that was so stupid. Why would they do that? That's crazy to me. I forgot about that. Bloodborne is easier than Liza P. You think so? I think I had more. I think I had more of a struggle with Bloodborne. Oh yeah, that's true, Harlem. They did put difficulty settings in Liza P, so I think it has an easy mode now. I haven't played it. On easy. I played it before they had the difficulty options. Yeah, that's what scares me about Shadow of the Erdtree. Legendary Drops did a great video today about young gamers not buying games, by the way. Yeah, that does seem to be a growing problem. The younger generation of gamers they're not buying games in the same way that we were and maybe still are. Yeah, it's interesting when we talk about Sony's pivot to live service, that's something I haven't really talked about. And it's actually such a vital reason to why they're making this shift. Like because actually come to think of it, when I was talking to you guys about Hiroki Totoki announcing that they're shifting away from a sell-in unit model, sales unit model to a MAU model where they're focused on monthly active users. For some reason, and I don't know why this is just coming to me now. For some reason, I was hyper fixated on the console, thinking that's all they were talking about. But he never said whether or not he was specifically talking about the hardware, if I recall. I think he was just talking generally. Like what I'm trying to say is he could have been talking about the games as well, where maybe the sales numbers for their games has actually become less important than the actual amount of people they have engaged with their games through things like not free to play, but live service titles. And eventually, I'm assuming eventually Sony will do free to play. You think there's a giant crash coming? Why are games like Resident Evil, Tomb Raider, and GTA considered PlayStation games when they are also on other consoles? I think it's just because of the history, like Resident Evil 1, Tomb Raider 1, even GTA. I mean, these are games that I think defined each PlayStation generation and are synonymous with each PlayStation generation. And I think the GTA games were exclusive for like a year or something for like the PS2 before they went to Xbox. But yeah, I think that's why people associate them so heavily with PlayStation. MBG, when it's all said and done, I'm starting to think more openly towards Sony shifting focus on live service and a more inclusive ecosystem, less console exclusives. Maybe the market is changing big time. Well, I don't think it's a coincidence, Tarnished. You know, I think that there could be something looming that most people can't see quite yet, or you know, some people are not paying attention to. Um, you know, people were saying that Microsoft wasn't wrong. You know, they were just too early. Like Microsoft saw what was happening, what was going to happen in the long term, but they implemented the strategy too quick, too aggressively, too soon. And that's possible. You know, they do say timing is everything. I mean, yeah, when I look around, man, and I see how much things have changed in the gaming landscape, and even just kind of comparing where we are now in August of 2025 to where we were in 2020, 2021, like that's such a I mean, it's a long period of time, but in the bigger picture, it's a shorter period of time, and so much has changed. Not just like in terms of what Sony does or doesn't do, or Microsoft does or doesn't do, but just the entire industry itself. And I mean, when would you guys say live service games really started to explode? I think live service games started to explode 2015, 16, 17, around that time. There were live service games prior to that, but I think that was the year when things really started to take off. That's when you have things like PUBG making waves. You have things like Fortnite on the horizon, you know. Um, and Call of Duty was already kind of at the forefront of trying to be, you know, full blown live service. And I think if you look at that, you can kind of trace it back to like that's when the shift started. Yeah, there's Destiny. That's when the shift really started to um, you know, I think that's when live service started to really blow up and take off, and people, industry analysts and people in the industry, developers, publishers, I think they're all kind of observing, and they're like, is this a trend? What is this? Because we've seen so many trends, right? I mean, we still see trends. There's so many trends that have occurred in gaming that they come and they go. And I feel like it's understandable why when you look at like 2015, 16, 17, 18, you kind of understand why maybe somebody like Shuhei Yoshida, right? Maybe he looks at it as maybe this is a trend. I'm not saying he did, but it's just reasonable to think that he's more of a traditionalist. You know, he's run the PlayStation business for many, many years. Maybe in his mind, this is just something that's not really going to last. But I think the interesting thing about live service games is that it has been revealed certainly by this point, but probably by like 2020, 2021, 2022. I think by this point, it's like, oh yeah, these are not trends. Like live service games are the future. You know, they're the future of gaming. Whether anybody wants to hear that or not, single player games will always be here. I'm not saying live service will replace single player. I'm saying the future of gaming is these games that never end. These games that you can play for literally the rest of your life. These games that are platforms now, that will be platforms for the next 30 years of you gaming. I feel like this is, at this point, it's like it's clearly, it's not a trend. It is here to stay. And we have Titus coming in, dropping 10 more membership gifts for you guys. Titus, thank you so much. And you have a milestone chat that I'm going to read as well. Let's see, what soundbite should I give Titus? Here you go. I'll give you a Herman Hulse.
This is an incredibly exciting time for PlayStation.
Why does Herman always make me laugh, bro? Titus, thank you so much, man. Let me add that to the counter. So we are now at 15 members. Titus sets you guys up. 10 bomb does it. 2 5 bombs or a 10 bomb. And we can feed the beast, who is he's sleeping over there. He's got his paw over his head. He's like, no sunlight. Perfect image once a member train. Titus, thank you so much for that support, man. Before I read your milestone chat, Titus Crow with the super chat says, because consumer buying power is collapsing. That too. Yeah, that's a major part of it. Absolutely. I mean, if this was already the direction things were going in, consumer buying power, diminishing or lowering. I don't think it'll be permanent, but could be a long time, right? That'll just help accelerate it. Absolutely. And Titus says with his 20-month milestone chat, hey, MBG, I couldn't be on your streams for quite some time because I was busy and because of family responsibilities. But I hope you and all in your family are fine. It's time for some membership gifts. Well, thank you so much, Titus. And as I'm reading that, Corey, the Legend Landiga coming in. He's doing some heavy lifting for you guys today. He's doing the lift for Boss. Let me tell you, I got the catnip fever. So these are treats infused with catnip. Found this on the floor last night, or when I woke up this morning. Cats were trying to tear it open. Got to be careful with this one. It came in a 3-pack. I'm a little bit nervous to use it because the last time I used it, Boss started getting crazy. Well, it's been a long time. Let's see. So Corey, thank you so much for the 10 bomb. We are now at 25 members.
Holy shit. Boss, do you read me? It's time to feed the beast.
Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Leia's already there, though. So I'm just going to... Oh, God. Here he comes. Oh, dude, Boss doesn't even give a shit. Oh, my God. All right, you guys can share. I guess Boss just needed to get a couple. Maybe he was just, I don't know. Boss is behaving strangely. He jumps up. He's like, this is mine. And then it's like, actually, you know what? Never mind. I'm surprised Leia's eating these, though. She's never had these treats before. Hopefully this isn't a mistake. But here you go. Yeah, thank you guys so much for the support. You know how we do it here. Totally fan-funded. I can only do what I do because you guys make it possible. So thank you so much. And Titus, to get back to your... Watch out, boss. Watch out. Watch out. Don't bite me. I just don't want you to hit the kill switch. Like, you can sit literally anywhere else. Oh, my God. Sorry. Titus, to get back to your message, yeah, I appreciate that, man. I know it's hard for people who want to, they want to tune into all the streams and all the content. And I know that I produce a lot of streams, like maybe too many. And I know that Titus, if you could, you'd be here for everyone. But the fact that you still show up, man, and still show support by dropping member gifts, I really do appreciate it. And me and the family are doing well. Mrs. MBG's hanging in there. We've had some issues this year, but we're trying to work through them. And like I said, at some point in September, I hope to bring back Morning with the Missus. Hopefully, Mrs. MBG can come back on the channel, and we'll give you guys like updates and talk to you and whatnot. But generally speaking, we're doing pretty well. We're doing all right, Titus, and I hope you and your family are doing well too, man. So thank you so much, bud. Oh yeah, boss smells it all right. Yeah, you can smell those treats. It's interesting when Leia has her treats, she only eats a few. She'll only eat like 6 or 7. Boss, he'll eat as many as I give him. So, no, thank you, Titus. Thank you. MBG, you need to get some kind of cover box so boss can't hit the kill switch. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to figure something out. It's just very annoying because I don't know why, when he is just sitting next to me, he sits right next to, it's a small switch, if you have like if you have like one of those modern outlets or whatever, it's just a red switch and he just sits dangerously close to it all the time. It's like, bro, just literally move 6 inches away and you'll be fine. But I'm surprised Luna isn't in here though. She was in here earlier, but anyway, I should become a cat show channel. I mean, that's it. At least 1/5 of my channel is basically that already. I think if I fully converted to a cat channel, I think a lot of people would be disappointed. People do still like to talk games. They like to hear me talk games too. But that'd be I don't know if that could work. But yeah, what I was saying about 2/5, yeah, not 1/5, 2/5. What I was saying about the live service games and Sony's, kind of slow transition to focusing more on them. And this is kind of, we started talking about that because of what Tarnished said and how, maybe like more and more people are becoming maybe more open-minded to the idea that this is just the direction that not only Sony is going in, not only Microsoft is going in, but the entire industry. And it does feel like at the end of the day, Nintendo will be the only gaming company. I mean, think about this. Literally the only video game company in the world that has what we would call true exclusives. Maybe they already are the only company that has true exclusives. And I think people are going to look at that and they're going to be like, well, see, they're still doing it. Nintendo's still doing true exclusives, and I'm going to support them because of that. I think that's fine, and that's good, and that makes sense. But I think at the end of the day, people are going to kind of realize that these other gaming companies that are not Nintendo don't care. I don't think it's going to matter to Sony. I don't think it matters to Sony right now if you buy a Switch 2 and you did so because you wanted Mario Kart. Obviously, it doesn't matter to Microsoft. I don't think it matters to Steam. I don't think it matters to EA. I don't think it matters to Capcom. I don't think it matters to any of these companies. And so I do think that really when we look at it, Nintendo is kind of just in their own lane. Sony is in closest in proximity to them, but is now getting further away. And soon it will be just Nintendo in that lane by themselves. And I don't think it's going to be a problem. I don't think it's going to be a bad thing. Do I think that Sony's going to, immediately eradicate exclusivity from their brand? No, I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to do it in the way Microsoft did, because I think if they tried to do that, they understand it would cause problems. I think they understand that it would be too much at one time. I just think Sony is preparing. I think they're preparing. Like, one of the things we're going to talk about is there is seemingly a Halo collaboration with Helldivers 2 that was announced. Well, not announced, but teased. And it's seemingly going to be announced very soon. And it's specifically teasing Halo ODST. And the way that they teased it was at the end of the latest trailer that they put out for the Xbox version. There's like 5 seconds of Hellpod like dropping in, and you hear this music playing, and people immediately picked up that that is Halo ODST's theme. And so it seems like, we are witnessing a new barrier being broken once again, where the first barrier was Microsoft saying we're going to put games on PlayStation. The second barrier was Sony actually saying, you know what, we'll put one of our games on Xbox. Now, the third barrier is Sony is even now collaborating with Arrowhead in, in allowing them to collaborate with Microsoft on a Halo. Like, we're seeing a Halo collaboration for a PlayStation first party game. And that is another barrier broken. That's another domino fallen, right? And we also have rumors now that there's going to be some kind of Halo beta. There's like an insider who has discovered that there's a Halo beta of some kind that's coming up. We don't know for what Halo game, but PlayStation is listed. And this is a real thing that's been discovered in the back end, or like the API or something. So, yeah, man, you look at this and I think, well, why would Sony A, allow Helldivers 2 on Xbox, and then B, allow them to do a Halo specific collaboration? And I think, at least to me, it's obvious, where it's like, dude, it's because Sony, in a lot of ways, Helldivers is the future, is a major part of PlayStation's future, where it is the most successful live service game they've ever released, and it may be the only major successful live service game they ever release. They're going to do literally everything they possibly can to keep Helldivers as relevant as it can be and to grow it. And I wouldn't be surprised if the only reason we don't see a Switch 2 version yet is because Sony is letting the Switch 2 sell, let the install base grow. And eventually they're going to say, okay, Nixus, now you're going to make a Helldivers 2 Switch 2 port. And then they're probably even going to see if they can do some kind of a specific event or something Nintendo related. I don't know if Nintendo would allow that. Nintendo seems to be, they're very stingy with that. But I just think that, Helldivers, if you want to know what Sony's going to do going forward, Helldivers is, is the kind of template, I would say. So, let's talk about, let's think about this. This is a Horizon live service game in development. Is it possible that if this Horizon live service game, well, first off, is it possible that game will be announced for Xbox? I think it's beyond possible. I think it's yes. I think the answer is it will. It will be. It's a live service game. I think it will be announced for Xbox. I think because it's Horizon, it will, and they've already put Lego Horizon on Switch. I think it will be announced for Switch 2. And I think there might even be a mobile version that's in development. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it seems like Sony wants to go all in with this live service Horizon game. Is it possible we could somehow see some kind of Xbox collaboration for Horizon? Yeah. Yeah, I think Sony's just basically opening the floodgates when it comes to their live service games. And I know we talk about maybe them putting their single player games on Xbox or other places. I don't even think that they're really too worried about that right now, if I'm being honest. I think it's becoming clear the more you listen to Sony talk, the more insight we get into how they want to run their business and the direction they want to take the PlayStation brand. Single player games are not going anywhere. They have some of the most talented single player studios in the world. some of the most awarded single player studios in the world. These games that people have come to expect from PlayStation, from these tentpole single player titles, they're not going anywhere. That should be clear. You know, Naughty Dog had the opportunity to convert into a live service studio, and they said we're not doing that. And Sony was like, that's fine. So you don't have to worry about that. But I'm just starting to think that Sony isn't really too concerned. Like, I think Sony has this mentality towards their single player studios. Like, you keep making really good games that sell well enough and don't go crazy over budget and win awards. Win game of the year, be just a critical success. And I think Sony's okay with that. And I think as long as like the single player studios can just kind of continue to do their thing, Sony will just continue to keep their focus on how are we going to get these live service hits? Because that's basically what they're doing. I mean, look at Ghost of Yotei. Like, Ghost of Yotei is the epitome of Sony just telling Sucker Punch, like, you guys do your thing. We're not going to get in the way. Same thing with Death Stranding 2. Kojima, you do your thing. We're not going to get in the way. Sony's well aware that Death Stranding 2 is not going to be at the top of the sales charts for very long. That it's not going to do like 10 million units. But yet they still want it. They still care about it. They still even do timed exclusivity for it. So I think it's just reasonable to assume that Sony will be most aggressive, in when we talk about opening the floodgates. I think Sony is and will continue to be incredibly aggressive with anything multiplayer, anything live service. If it goes beyond that, well, that'll be another barrier broken, and it remains to be seen when or if that's going to happen. But I'm not against. I've never been against Sony trying to pursue live service. The only thing I've worried about is if they find too much success in live service, are they going to like basically care less about single player? I don't know. I don't really have an answer to that one. I want to say that would take a lot. Sony, they have a deep, deep, deep history with single player. And so many of their studios are rooted in single player, and so many of their studios want to stay in single player. They would have to go out of their way aggressively. I mean, like really, like just go total savage on their own studios. They would have to go out of their way to dismantle and undo that. And that's why a lot of people didn't like Jim Ryan, because they felt like that's what he did. But he did it unsuccessfully, very unsuccessfully, at least partially. Right? He didn't make all their studios go live service, but yeah, man. All this is to just simply say that live service games are not going anywhere, man. And I wonder, I don't know how long it's going to take. Maybe it'll take another year. Maybe it'll take a couple more years, but eventually the most hardcore PlayStation fans, they're going to come to terms with this. They're going to come to terms with just like, this is what they're doing, man. And the only place left to go, if you want the 100% traditional way of doing things, the only place left to go is Nintendo. And for some people, they might be okay with that. For most people, I don't. I think most people are just, and we're already seeing it now, I think most people are just like, oh, all right, well, let's see what happens, right? But the bigger picture here, is, we talk about a Halo collaboration in Helldivers 2. The bigger picture with that is it should let you know how much Sony wants this game to succeed on Xbox. And that to me is so fascinating, dude. Like, I I do worry a little bit about Sony's approach here, only because it's like I'm not saying that Helldivers can't be a success on Xbox. In fact, I actually I'm more bullish on it. I think Helldivers is going to do damn well on Xbox. And I know that there's a lot of people who disagree with that. I've encountered quite a few people who believe that um that this game's not going to do hardly anything on Xbox. And that would suck because that would mean Sony just wasted a lot of time. Not a lot, but it means they wasted time and resource in, you know, putting this game on Xbox. It's just knowing that the Xbox platform is let me back up. I find it fascinating that Sony decided that the first place they want to put Helldivers 2 beyond PC is Xbox. Not because it's Xbox. Not because of that. Not because it's like we hate Xbox. They're our enemy. Not like that. I just mean like you would think, why not? Like, I just have to ask, why did they not maybe consider, or maybe they did and it just didn't work? I was going to say a mobile version of Helldivers. Or maybe that's something Arrowhead wouldn't want. You know what? Actually, the more I think about it, maybe they chose Xbox because maybe that's the only platform that currently makes sense. You can't port it to the Switch 1 because it simply couldn't run on the Switch 1. Porting it to, I mean, let me ask you guys this. Do you think Helldivers 2 could run on PS4? I mean, surely if it could, it would be on there, right? Right? And that, yeah, that's true, Lore Cannon. You're saying, bro, 30 million is not a small number. That's true. I'm just wondering how much that number has shrunk or will shrink, you know? And like how Sony probably sees that. And maybe that's why they're like, listen, it's probably only going to get less from here. So let's get in while the getting is maybe good. Right? It's a thought. It's a thought. And we have AJ, a member for 10 months. He says, MBG Battlefield is back, and I can't believe it. When I realized how great Battlefield 6 was, I wanted to cry. My favorite Battlefield is 2. Which one is your favorite? Well, it does seem very much like Battlefield is finally back. My all-time favorite Battlefield has to be Bad Company 2. I've talked about it numerous times. I've loved Battlefield 3. I played a little bit of Battlefield 2, but I was pretty young and didn't really understand it at the time. I liked Battlefield 4 a lot. I even liked Bad Company 1. I even liked Battlefield Hardline. Battlefield 1 was amazing, but Bad Company 2 to me is like, that's like Battlefield 6 in a lot of ways actually reminded me of Bad Company 2. And then I think recently the developer said that they took inspiration from it. I'm like, I can feel that and I can see that. But dude, Bad Company 2, there was so I don't even know how to explain it, man. There was just something so truly special and unique about Bad Company 2. Where like, even to this day, there's nothing I played that is quite like it. I mean, I was addicted to that game. I was helplessly addicted. It had a great campaign. The multiplayer was phenomenal. It had such a crazy feel, man, like no other game had. It had that aura, you know? So, AJ, I'll have to say Bad Company 2 is by far my favorite. It's my favorite Battlefield. And after playing Battlefield 6, I can feel some of that DNA bleeding through. Yeah, the Battlefield developers are taking all the feedback, man, and I love it. You know, I love it. I think a lot of people are sitting there saying, "I'm waiting to see how EA is going to screw this up," but maybe they won't. Maybe it's finally time. It's been long enough, right? Dude, I actually played that game, Battlefield Heroes. I tried that and it wasn't. You see, this is where I say like I game on PC. That's what I play. I play Battlefield Heroes on PC. I'm a real PC gamer. No, but I remember when I saw that game, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like it's different. It's not. It's like a cartoonish like Battlefield. I'm like, oh, I gotta try this. It was basically like Fortnite. It was like Battlefield Fortnite. That's so crazy to think, dude. It was so long ago. And when I found out it was only on PC, I was like, I got to go try it on PC then. And I played it. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Community matches incoming? Yeah, possibly. I don't know what the situation is with Battlefield 6 and the servers. Like, I don't know what the situation is in terms of them allowing you to do like private matches and inviting people. But if they allow that, like if we can, how many players does it go up to? 64 players, 48, 62, 64, something like that. Yeah, if that's an option, we'll definitely do some community matches. That'd be really fun. That'd be really, really fun. So I'll be paying close attention to that. I never did play Battlefield 1942, but I played Battlefield was at 1943. It was like a smaller game, almost like an arcade game. That was really good. It was like on a single map. Yeah, it's so funny to think that Battlefield 2042 had a 124 player count, but it like didn't matter. I think it was almost like bigger doesn't always necessarily mean better. They are kind of confirmed, but under portals. So you can use real map from DICE or custom map. Oh yeah, they did mention that, like custom matches. Okay. Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. If we could get some community matches in Battlefield 6, that'd be really fun. And we have Grooven or Piper with a $5 chat. He says, "Bro, why do you think that Xbox players aren't enjoying Xbox and they're all going to leave at any moment?" No, I don't think it's not that I think the Xbox player base is just going to leave at any moment. I think it's just more along the lines of there's going to be from this point forward a natural degradation, and it might not be as significant as I'm making it sound, because let's say there are, if I just had to pull a random number, let's say there are 22 million people who still turn on their Xbox consoles and play their Xbox console. I feel like that number is kind of high, I'll be honest, but let's just say there's 22 million. Let's say there's like 27 or 28 million sold, but only 22 million are really like actively using it every day or like every week. That is not an insignificant number, in my opinion. 22 million potential customers is not something that I think a studio would look at and say, this means nothing and it's not even worth it. However, I don't think it's the 22 million number that actually is really that important. I think the more important number is, out of that 22 million, how many of those customers are actually willing to buy their games? And I think that's what we're going to really find out with Helldivers 2. And I'm rooting for it. I don't want to see Helldivers fail. The truth is, like, I want to see Helldivers be Sony's most successful live service because it might be their only successful live service. And they have to have something out here that's going to compete, right? And Helldivers, I think, is poised to be that in the long run, in the mid to long term. So I'm rooting for Helldivers to do well on Xbox and to find a whole new audience, and for Sony to come out and be like, we hit a whole new player milestone. The question is, will that happen? What are we really looking at? Are we looking at 1 million sales? Are we looking at less than 1 million sales? Are we looking at a shocking revelation that, dude, 4 million players bought this on Xbox? Something just wild, which I think would be more than PlayStation. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm curious to see how it does, because I think both Sony and Microsoft are hoping that this game specifically speaks to the Xbox player base. And because of that, it won't matter that it's not on Game Pass. It won't matter that it's a a $40 game that you have to pay for. But I don't know. It's like I said, guys. I know I have a friend, a real life friend. I know, shocking, who plays on Xbox, and I've talked to him numerous times about it. It's anecdotal, but it's just fascinating to me that like, wow, I actually know somebody that's like this. That like this is how Microsoft has conditioned them. He said that he will never buy another video game for as long as he lives. He will never. And this is somebody who used to buy video games, by the way. He used to buy video games and collect games. And ever since he subscribed to Game Pass, I don't know what it did to him. I'm going to be honest, because even I was shocked. I'm like, bro, what happened? Like you used to have a bigger collection than me or whatever. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he just went to the complete opposite end, but he's said numerous times to me that like, if it's not on Game Pass, he doesn't care. And he's not going to. And I would always just be like, man, that's crazy. Like, why would you not? And another thing he said too, and the only reason I'm talking about this is because I think it's real. Like, I think this is a real thing that Microsoft has done to a larger portion of their fan base than people realize, is that, his whole thing is, if it's not on Game Pass, he'll wait for it to come to Game Pass. And you're saying, but isn't it kind of the same, MBG, with 10% of PlayStation users buying their games? I mean, we can't say it's the same literally, because, well, we are talking about different numbers. So like, 10% of 100 million, right, is much more significant than 10% of 20 million. You know what I mean? In terms of sales. And so I think Microsoft could be okay with like 10, like if Microsoft sold 80 to 100 million Xboxes and only 10% of that user base bought their games, I think they would be cool with that. Like that's a lot, that's a lot of copies sold. But I think the thing that really hurts Xbox, and I mean really damages them and has done the most damage this generation to them, I think it's the fact that their install base couldn't really go past 30 million. And those percentages, like, I'll put it to you this way. If 66%, roughly 66% of that 30 million, of those 30 million Xbox owners bought Microsoft games, you would not see Microsoft games on PlayStation. I mean, that's a wild number at that point. Maybe 66%. Let's just say 50%. 50% so much. Yeah, why would I say 66%? Because I guess I'm like saying 2/3, but let's just say half. If there were if the Xbox user base was capped at 30 million basically, but 50% of that user base actually bought Microsoft's games, Microsoft would have no reason to put their games on PlayStation. But that's just not how it works. It's this is why people wonder why exclusivity is dying. This is why. Now maybe this isn't applicable to Nintendo, because Nintendo's an outlier, where Nintendo's kind of a freak that can, with some of their games, somehow hit 50%. I don't know how they do it. Nobody knows how they do it. Even Nintendo probably doesn't even know how they do it. It just is the way it's where the pieces have landed on the board, I guess you could say. And I assure you, if Sony was hitting 25% sold, yeah, they wouldn't probably go to PC. Sony has tried to increase that percentage, and they've been struggling to do so. It's not to say that what they're doing isn't good. It's just to say that, yeah, I mean, when you feel as though you've hit that ceiling, you're going to have to start looking in other places. And I wonder, getting back to the Xbox side of things, I just wonder what the percentage was for Microsoft going into this generation, or going into the Xbox One generation, I mean to say, and how much that percentage has been reduced ever since Game Pass was announced and marketed. Because if Microsoft sold 50 million Xbox Ones and like 5 or 6% or less, let's just say like 5 to 6%. That sounds like a reasonable number. 5 to 6% of that 50 million player base were buying exclusives. And then you announce something like Game Pass, and then next generation, that 50 million drops to 28 million. And then that percentage drops from 5 to 6 to 2 to 3. You see what I'm saying? Like so it's not just about like making it seem like, oh, the Xbox player base is just going to leave or something like that. I think some will. I think some have. But I do encounter quite a few people that, again, even my own friend, like they still play on Xbox. So Microsoft does have a player base, but how that player base engages with their games is, I think, very different. Not very, but in some ways significantly different than how the PlayStation player base engages with games. And I do think Microsoft is responsible for that. I think Microsoft is aware they're responsible for that. I think the Xbox fan base is aware that Microsoft is responsible for that. And Sony almost went down that road, when they were like, oh, we're going to put Horizon Forbidden West on the PlayStation Plus 1 year after launch. And that was a slippery slope, because it's like people were immediately asking, is this the new thing? 1 year PS Plus? And so I was like, no, that's not what we're trying to tell you. And they didn't do anything like that since then. I think what God of War took like multiple years or something. So you could immediately sense that like the PlayStation player base was ready to embrace, like, oh yeah, I'll wait. If that's what you're going to do, if Sony says to me, we will put our games on PlayStation Plus 1 year after launch, you'd have potentially millions of people that would have went out and bought the game day one, because that to them is the only way they're going to get it. Either that, or maybe wait for a price cut, but either way, you're paying for the game. You're going to buy the game. If they condition their player base to expect that, then millions of people maybe would have just waited 12 months, So, yeah, man, I think Microsoft played with some fire. I think they got kind of burned, but I think they're still trucking along. And Helldivers, getting back to what we were initially talking about, it's going to be very interesting to see how Helldivers performs, because I don't know what Sony's expectations are, but I have to assume they're somewhat high. It's like, this is the first game we're ever putting on Xbox, like ever, willingly, like we did it. It's a shooter. It's a co-op shooter. Xbox players love that. I think there is I think there's a reasonable expectation there. We have Prince G here, a member for 17 months. He says, shout out to the G Unit, G Survivor, MBG, Double G, Grockly G. Or I said Grockly G, Grockly Rob, my bad. Rich Grock, CB and G, and Hanzo G. Thank you, Prince G. Prince G coming in with the G Unit. Amazing. Love it. Thank you for being a member for 17 months, by the way. Prince G. I appreciate that, bro. Why do I have all these notifications? We also have Lux here with a super chat. And he says, crazy that it's been Xbox's record year for income, but worst for their hardware. They obviously condition players to sub. Somehow the money keeps coming in. Lux, my guess is that it has to be games like Call of Duty. It has to be, well, that and them releasing games in other places. I think the reason why the money's rolling in is kind of like how you mentioned their hardware. It's a record year for income or revenue, but seemingly the worst year ever for their hardware. And I think we literally just witnessed the exchange of we're going to stop caring how the hardware does and purely focus on our publishing efforts. And I mean, if you go back, Lux, if you go back to November of 2023, Xbox's CFO, I forget his name, but Xbox's CFO tells their investors at a summit meet that, listen, we're going to start going more multi-platform because we're going to be pursuing higher profit margins through publishing, you know, and through these games. That was what Microsoft told their investors, and that's what they said that they were aiming for. Fast forward to where we are now, you know, a year and a half later, more than a year and a half. And that's exactly, you know, the results are, yeah, like we told you guys we would make more money publishing and we make better profit margins publishing, even if it kind of kills our hardware. And the results are there. So, you know, whether or not opinion wise an onlooker thinks that that was the right thing to do, you know, I guess you could say it's kind of subjective, you know what I mean? But from a purely business oriented standpoint, which is the view that Microsoft takes, they did make the right choice. You know, where if their goal was to make more money and to make investors happier and get more investors on board, then they achieved that. But, you know, obviously, if you're not an investor or if you're not looking at it simply through the business oriented lens, you question, like, man, like, was there really no other way? And we have a direct donation from Perfect Image. He says, question for you in the community. I'm not discounting on PS5 games, but what game would gravitate towards PlayStation users? I think we need a different genre. So you're basically asking Perfect Image, like, what genre of game Sony could try to get in, like, try to make and announce that would be very different from what we've received thus far, and that PlayStation players would actually gravitate towards. Huh. That's a good question. A tactical shooter. A tactical shooter would be very interesting, and SOCOM's the first thing that comes to mind. Whether or not the PlayStation audience, and when we say PlayStation audience, we're talking about a wide audience, we're talking about like an audience that's gonna in the millions, you know, not like 1 million, but like 4 to 5 to 6 million or more. I mean, I do wonder if maybe Sony could have something with Twisted Metal. You know, their show is doing really well, and there's like no game, and so it's kind of awkward. I do wonder if that's something that could do better than you would first think, right? Maybe it could take off a little bit. I mean, Sony, they thought they had something with Destruction All Stars. They did not. They did not have something with Destruction All Stars. But Destruction All Stars is not Twisted Metal. If Destruction All Stars was Twisted Metal, a really well made Twisted Metal, maybe they would have had something. A tactical shooter would be interesting. Well, Prince, I will say, if you look at Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, that's basically Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls is essentially doing exactly what you're saying, where it's a first party published PlayStation game. And it is something very different. You know, it's a fighting game, seemingly a very hardcore fighting game. And I think it kind of, you know, it represents exactly what you're saying, where it's Sony embracing a new genre, something that they haven't really been involved with that often, if really ever. And it seems like they're going to kind of break out with it. And I'll be honest, man, it does seem like generally speaking, it it does seem like the PlayStation audience is gravitating in a positive way towards Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. Yeah, is it going to sell like 10 million? Um, I don't know. I mean, we don't even know if it's going to be multi-platform. Presumably it will be because it's going to be treated like a live service. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what else they got cooking. Perfect Image. All right. Why did that just? I was That was weirdly delayed. Huh. Um, a dating sim game? Well, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm thinking about the games that Sony has in development, and one of the games that they have in development that I am very curious to see what the hell it is and how it ends up being is Project Gummy Bears. I'm fairly certain I'm not going to be interested in it, but I'm just interested in what Project Gummy Bears is going to be, generally speaking, because it's clearly it's going to be Sony making a game and putting out a game that is going to be unexpected. You know, like is this supposed to speak to the core PlayStation audience? I don't think so. That's not the vibe I'm getting. We know very little about it, but it seems like they're trying to like this genre. And the reason why I'm thinking of that studio is because the genre of game it is, they describe it as like 7 different genres. And I'm like, I don't know. Could this game that LFG Studio is making, which is a new PlayStation first party studio, could this game be focused on um player content? You know, is this like Sony trying to make their own Roblox? Perhaps not exactly like it, but just Roblox, Fortnite, like making a live service game that is kind of a platform, with user generated content. I'm not sure. It would be kind of weird to see them do that after they pretty much axed Dreams, but I don't know. The point is, Sony is dabbling in these other genres, and they are experimenting with them. How we're gonna feel about some of these games, we may hate them, we may love them, we may hate them. Fair Games, probably gonna hate it. Yo, what if Fair Games ends up being like a surprise hit? What if Fair Games is the opposite of Concord? Hmm? Anybody? Anybody? Oh man. Um, and we have Lux with another super chat. He says Gummy Bears will boot Stomp Fortnite and Roblox. Fortnite, Roblox, watch out. Herman's coming for you.
This is an incredibly exciting time for PlayStation.
Herman's coming for you. Herman knows. He knows how exciting of a time it is. I'm so scared. Look, I'm so scared for Sony's live service future, man. Like, this is why I want Helldivers to do well on Xbox. I'm just so scared about every other live service game Sony has because Concord scarred me, bro. I'll be honest with you. Like, I did not think it was possible for Sony to do what they did with Concord. I didn't think it was possible. You know, like I always knew Sony could make a bad game. I always knew Sony could make a underwhelming game, especially if it was live service. I always knew Sony could screw up. Marvel Tokon is the only other live service game that I'm not nervous about for Sony. That one seems all right. They're on good footing. But after seeing what can possibly happen. Like this is a possibility, and then it did happen with Concord. I'm terrified for like Sony's other live service games, man, where it's like I don't want to go through that shit again. I really don't. Um, and I wonder if this is why they tried playtesting. They tried playtesting Fair Games because they were like, we should probably have people sign NDAs and play this and let us know what they think. And apparently it was so bad that Jade Raymond, like, I mean, let's just face it, she seemingly got fired, dude. You know? So, is the crisis averted? Like, was Fair Games on track to be Concord, literally like Concord 2, and Sony stopped it? It just makes me nervous, man, because look at Marathon. Like, I'm not trying to be negative. It's just that this is the main area of PlayStation that I feel pretty confident in almost everything else they're doing. Like, I feel confident in their hardware. They've done a great job. I feel confident in their single player games. I feel confident that they're going to have different types of single player games coming in the future. Um, they've been doing a pretty good job, a decent job with PlayStation Plus. But the live service stuff, I to be fair, like Helldivers is such a huge success that should give me confidence. But it's just that there's so many live service games looming in the distance for Sony. And for those of you who watched that stream where I uh, where I reacted to Sony's 2025 business meeting, so much emphasis was put on these live service games. And Marathon was such a big one where, oh God, dude, like I thought Marathon was the game that I didn't have to be scared about at all. Like I didn't have to worry about Marathon. Like you know, it's Bungie. Are you kidding me? It's not going to do Destiny numbers, but come on. They'll make a good game. People will like it. And I was wrong. I was just like completely wrong. I'm like, what? Like I felt like a little bit blindsided where it's like, wait, everybody's turning on Marathon? Why? What happened? It's like, oh yeah, they plagiarized somebody's art. Like the whole game seems to be plagiarized. The whole aesthetic of the game seems to be plagiarized. And the game's also just not that good. It's like, okay. And I'm like, dude, this was supposed to be the big one. I think to a degree, if I'm being like totally honest, I think to a degree, Sony behind the scenes, I think that they kind of I don't think they're not panicking, but I think there's like a part like if you listen to Sony CFO Lynn Tao in the earnings report they just did, she straight up said, our live service efforts have not gone smoothly. Now that's obvious to anybody, but the fact that Sony's even willing to admit that now, we're like, yeah, we kind of fucked up. I almost get this feeling that they're anticipating like it ain't over. You know what I mean? Like that's their way of kind of, they're trying to be a little bit optimistic about it. Like we're learning, but basically like it's still early and yeah, the transition's not going as smooth as we had hoped. Yeah, true. Arc Raiders, people were gravitating towards that. Arc Raiders seemingly boot stomped Marathon. Blizzard is the latest to steal someone's art, apparently. God damn, what is going on? How does this keep happening? It'd be funny if Halo released an extraction shooter and it does better than Bungie's Marathon. That would be funny. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, how many extraction shooters are in development? Not many. If I had to guess, not many. Well, we do know that Bungie is getting fully integrated into PlayStation, and I don't know. I wish I could say what that means for the future of Bungie. I wish I could say that I have any idea of. I mean, if I can't say nothing. Obviously, we could say nothing if I wanted to, but if I just had to take a guess, when Bungie is fully integrated into Sony, what does that mean? I think it means Sony puts them under the. I think it means Sony puts them in the hot seat. I think it means that once you're in our domain now, you're not going to get any. There's going to be some kind of free pass anymore. You're either going to perform and you're going to get a thumbs up, or you're not, and you're cooked. I think that a lot of Bungie has been burning. And I think the reason it's been burning is because they could kind of afford it because they grew so big. You know, they reached these incredible heights, but they just started burning all the goodwill. I'll never forget, dude, I will never forget when I learned that apparently Bungie, they had all this extra stuff, all this extracurricular stuff with their studio where all this money was dumped into it. None of it had to do with game development. And one of the things they had was like a knitting class or something. And that to me was crazy. I know it sounds so ridiculous, but like that blew my mind because it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, did I miss something? Like, you guys are a video game development studio. Yeah, I know, Lux. I know. And I'll be honest, I find some of it strange. Maybe maybe it's because I don't know. I'm like, maybe it's because I'm a grump. But I'm just like, like, why? Don't get me wrong. Like, I understand, like, you want to keep your employees happy. And you got to think of their mental health and their mental well being. But it's just like, bro, the nobody's gonna be well if your studio's losing money. You know what I'm saying? Like no, like everybody's gonna be unwell. Everybody, and nobody's gonna be safe. And I do wonder if maybe a part of this is because for the longest time the money was just flowing, the money was in abundance, and it's normal. You're like, oh yeah, sure, just spend it and expand this, yeah, make these classes and do all this extra shit. Why not? Make everybody happy. I can understand it from that. I can understand it from that point of view. But maybe now we're just in a time where it's like, dude, you need to be a lean, mean, efficient machine. Because if you're not, you're going to be on the razor's edge. Because that's just where we are in the industry right now, economically, right? And I think maybe that's why you're seeing Bungie. It's like, yeah, we need to be literally part of Sony now. Like they need to take us in. But crunch is the reason they brought that stuff in and changed the industry. Yeah, see, it feels like a pendulum swinging from one end to the other, where it's like, well, maybe we went overboard with the crunch, making people live at their desks, not treating them like humans. Maybe we went overboard, so let's go in the opposite direction and just make it a good old fun time. And it's like, well, there has to. I think we just once again, we just kind of got to be in the middle here, where it's like we can have like a little bit of crunch sometimes. Like when we're reaching the end of a project and it's like, all right, guys, nose to the grindstone, big push, together now. Not the entirety of the game development, but towards the end, the push a little bit harder, sure, and then balance that out with, okay, relax a little bit now. We're gonna have some fun now for a little bit. We earned it. But like going all in one direction or the other doesn't make any sense to me. Where it's like, let's just, who cares if our game takes 15 years to make? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I get it. Like, Rockstar can do that because, well, I mean, they literally can afford to do that. But outside of that, it's like, what are you talking about? We got to make sure everybody's on the same page and, can't rush these things. It's like, it's not about rushing, but it's like, what do you mean 15 years? What do you mean 12 years? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It's a tough thing. Like, I don't know. You look at like Naughty Dog, and Naughty Dog was a studio that was pretty infamous for having bad crunch. And look, I think that maybe it did get out of hand, because when you have multiple reports from Jason Schreier, basically from developers that are like telling you how it's like, it's horrible and people are just leaving, like people are dropping like flies. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But it is worth noting that like one of the biggest criticisms that people have for Naughty Dog this generation is like, where the hell isn't, like, why haven't you released a new game? You know? And I'm not saying that crunch would solve that problem, but you can just kind of maybe understand to a degree where it's like, well, listen, we're changing the whole culture of the studio. And what that's going to translate to is, yeah, you're going to get maybe one game out of this entire generation, one new game from us for the entire gen. And like, my only thing about that is, you know what? I'm actually totally cool with that, but goddamn, it's got to feel worth it. You know, like, yeah, last generation they gave us 2 games, and so it was like lessening more and more. And yeah, it doesn't make sense to crunch your team to oblivion thinking you're going to get 3, 4, or 5 games out of gen. You know, but at the same time, it's just like, you can kind of understand why people are looking at like, wait, we're getting 1 game. And to me, it's all going to come down to the quality of that game. You know, did the wait feel worth it? Nobody's going to care how long GTA 6 took when it comes out. You know, nobody will care the moment that game is in their hands, because what they will feel is like, holy shit, I've never played anything like this. Like, this is on a level I've never seen. So that 12, 13 year, 14, however long it took to get the next GTA game, it will feel worth it. You know what I mean? It will feel worth it, because it's just like, wow, you know what? I guess this is why it took so long. But how many studios can really pull that off on that level? It's difficult. It is very, very difficult. So I don't know, man. I just think that what we're seeing right now is a recalibration happening across studios, across the industry. Not for every single studio, not for every single publisher, but I think that recalibration is a natural byproduct. You know, I think it's just a natural byproduct of like, maybe some teams got too comfortable doing something only one way, and they realized that that can't be the only way. They have to offset that now. MBG, sorry to change the subject. Do you think PlayStation will have a showcase next month? I did say this in my last stream, but I'll mention it one more time. I think they're gonna have a state of play for sure, 100%. There will be a state of play. Could it be a showcase? It could. Do I think it will be? No. No, to be honest, I think Sony has less incentive than they ever have, ever, to do a showcase. Like, if Sony wants to do a showcase this year, it's literally just because they're like, fuck it, let's just do it. Let's just have some fun. Why not? Because, you know, I think it's safe to say, and this is just my opinion. You know, it's fine to disagree. And it's funny because you can tell I've completely turned a new leaf, because the fact that I'm saying this is crazy, right? But I think it's fairly obvious that they're not doing another showcase until it's time to reveal the PS6. And that's going to happen. You're probably not going to get another PlayStation showcase until June 2027. So about 2 years from now. Sony has found a they found a formula, you know, that works for them. They do 3 to 4 state of plays a year, and at the end of each state of play, they give you a little something for first party. And in between, they'll give you a dedicated state of play for a game, like Ghost of Yote. The only way I could see Sony doing a showcase is if for some reason they have like 3 or 4 games that we don't know about that like the developers like we're ready to show them. And you know what? Listen, to be honest, I don't think it's that Sony is going out of their way not to do a showcase. I think it's just that simple. I think it's that Sony has to do a quick rundown of who's ready to show their game. And if the answer is only like 1, maybe 2 studios, then you're like, okay, well, we can't do a showcase. We have to do a state of play. And Sucker Punch, you're up. You said your game's ready to be shown. You're up. Next state of play, we'll show your game. Do a big reveal. Housemarque, like, I'll put it to you this way. Do you think Returnal couldn't have been revealed during the same state of play that Ghost of Yote was? It absolutely could have been. Saros could have absolutely been revealed during the same state of play we saw Ghost of Yote revealed. But they were like, we'll save it for the next one 3 or 4 months from now. And that's exactly what they did. And Wolverine, for all we know, could be ready to show. And they could have shown it at the last state of play, but they're like, we'll wait for the next one. So on and so forth. I think this is how they're doing it. Because until the stars align, and it's like we can show Wolverine, we can show Venom, we can show Intergalactic, we can show Saros all at the same time. We can show Media Molecules game. Like until the stars align, where it's like we got like 4 or 5, 6 things to show. Then I don't think they're gonna do a showcase, because think about it. The alternative. The alternative from that is do an underwhelming, disappointing showcase with not enough first party content. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't think we're getting a showcase next month. But I feel fairly certain we'll get. Well, I'll say one other thing. There's only one thing that gives me a little bit of pause there. And it's the fact that Saros was revealed this year and they said we're going to see gameplay this year. So I don't know where they're going to squeeze that in. I mean, they could do a state of play where they show a new trailer for Saros that shows off gameplay, like a gameplay trailer, and then they close it with another Wolverine trailer, something like that. And it still doesn't have to be a showcase. They could do that, but I just try to keep in mind that they did say we're getting Saros gameplay this year, and it's going to be September soon. So, I don't know. Well, yeah, Gamescom. Sony, I'm pretty sure, is not going to be at Gamescom. Gamescom is happening next Tuesday, which I'll stream that. Sony did say they will be at Tokyo Game Show, so that tells me they are planning to do something in September. Again, Sony's never not done something in September. So rest assured, next month should be a pretty big month for PlayStation. What they'll announce, Spider-Man coming to Xbox, baby. Well, yeah, Saros is confirmed for 2026. There's also, well, all right. I don't want to like, I guess we'll have the hopium section. We'll do the hopium section, okay? Let's talk about if Sony were to do a showcase, what they could show. So let's say September, they announced PlayStation Showcase 2025. What could they show? Well, they're going to have Saros. They could show Saros. Ghost of Yotei wouldn't be out yet, so they could show another trailer for Ghost of Yotei. That's 2 first parties. They have that smaller God of War game that's going to be like a 2D side scroller, 2.5D side scroller God of War game. They do have Cory Barlog's new game that they could reveal if it's ready to go. They could be ready to re-reveal Wolverine. So that's like 5 things, potentially. Venom could be real, could be ready to be shown. That would be 6. Intergalactic gameplay could be ready to be shown. So that's like 7 things. Fire Sprite, their game could be ready. Media Molecule could be ready to throw out an early trailer of their game. Any of the live service games, Horizon, Dark Horse, LFG, Marvel Tokon character reveals could show up. So Bluepoint could tease if they have something to tease. This isn't me trying to say you should expect a showcase. It's just me saying that these are all possible things that could be ready. Like all those things that I just listed, the stars could align, and it's like now is the time. A lot of this stuff is ready to show. But, I wouldn't expect that. I wouldn't assume that. I'm going to assume that Sony will just do what they've been doing, where they have a big state of play, a dedicated segment at the end of that state of play showing off some first-party stuff, and then they'll have more first-party stuff to show at the Game Awards. But man, you know how great it would be if we did get a showcase? That'd be awesome. I'd be very excited for that. Because it's been, God, man, it's been way too long. MBG, don't you feel the strong AI disapproval by what seems to be the masses is being diminished? I'm seeing more and more big YouTubers use AI thumbnails and many companies using it without facing scrutiny. Oh, yeah, dude. Well, listen, again, I know I come off as a defeatist. I just try to be a realist. No one, at the end of the day, no one's going to care about AI. Because the thing with AI is that it's not just going to benefit the corporations. It's not just going to benefit, a certain few that want to use it. The thing about AI that everybody's starting to discover is that, wait a second, I can use it too. I can benefit from it. Everybody is beginning to learn and wake up to the fact that they can benefit from AI. And, it doesn't mean there won't be people against it. There will still be people against it, but it's just, I do think that more and more people are just, I think they're just kind of waking up to the realization that, oh, I didn't realize I didn't realize this was just something I had access to and could use freely as well for anything I do. So the real casualty of AI, we're already seeing it. It's like you're saying, a lot of these companies are doubling and tripling down on AI use, and we're seeing jobs be replaced already. And we're seeing all these different things happening, and that's just it. They're just happening. I need AI thumbnails. The only thing I've used AI for so far is when I'm making my thumbnail, I have this tool that can upscale an image if it's too blurry, which is actually incredibly useful sometimes. Although it's really weird because sometimes I'll have like a picture of like Mark Cerny or something, and it'll be low resolution, and I'll click upscale, and it will completely change how he looks, and it looks creepy as hell. The AI-ification, where it's like, oh shit, that's It's like Timu Mark Cerny right there, bro. Hundreds of billions of dollars by the biggest corporations and investors. It's too big to leave. Plus the huge competition against China's AI expertise too. Yeah, I mean, thinking about AI can very easily lead me down the path of existentialism, as does many things. But I don't know, man. I'm not really too worried about AI because, like, I don't know. It's just the only thing that I feel sure of with AI is that right now we are watching the very beginning of, like, we're watching the beginning of, I mean, I know it sounds dramatic, but the AI revolution that's going to completely change and alter the course of humanity. Not saying whether it's going to be good, not saying it's going to be bad. It's probably going to be like most things where there's going to be good and there's going to be bad. You know, you take the good with the bad with the good. But I think we are actually witnessing the very beginning of that right now. The AI revolution. Microsoft invested 140 billion into it just the past year. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they know. They know. They all know. Um, I just, to me, I just don't know that we could talk about what AI can do for video games. And I think AI is going to do a lot of crazy things for video games, just like it's already doing crazy things for music and, you know, videos and all that. I think we're going to see that for gaming too. I think gaming might just take a little bit longer, but we're already seeing the beginnings of that, right? But I think the bigger question with AI and how, yeah, we see it for things like PSSR. You see Microsoft has a generative AI tool for gaming. It's stuff like that. Like, to me, that's the freak show stuff. That's like, wow. Like right now, it comes off as a freak show because it looks so weird and like how it's like you see this generative AI trying to replicate a game, but it's not quite right. You know, um, you you have to wonder what that looks like 5 years from now. Right now, you use this generative AI tool that Microsoft has to make a game by just typing in inputs, you know, um, and prompts. The AI is not very good at it right now. It's struggling. Give it 5 years. What happens when it becomes like if you just type in, you know, make The Last of Us Part 3. And, you know, obviously you have to give it more prompts and be more specific about what you would want, but you do that and then it just boom, there you go. You see, you know, maybe it gives you a sample and that sample literally looks like something that Naughty Dog would reveal at a PlayStation showcase. But then the crazier part is now all you have to do is ask it to actually make the entire game. Tell it how many chapters you want, what type of levels, what characters. You can get as detailed as you want. This is where AI is headed. And how that's going to be that's going to be monetized, that's going to be integrated. And I don't know exactly what that looks like. It sounds very complicated. It sounds like a logistics nightmare. I don't know. The whole thing sounds like it's going to be messy. Um, but it's happening. And you will still have games made by people, of course. To be clear, like I'm not, you know what I mean? Like I'm not. You will still get a new Naughty Dog game from Naughty Dog. But these corporations are going to when these generative AI tools become advanced enough for gaming, they'll use them not only to make their own games, but they'll probably find a way to put it out there for people to use themselves and find a way to monetize it. Basically, make an AI game creation platform. Um, you see something like Fortnite. I mean, maybe something like Roblox. I know we bring up these games a lot, but you could see them because they're already massive platforms being places where it's like, yeah, you can kind of, yeah, Sony could have done that. Dreams AI, something like that, you know? Have you seen the new Google Genie 3.0 reveal? I don't think I have. You think I should react to it? It already happened. Wait, you're telling me there's already AI generation in Fortnite? Fortnite is incorporating generative AI in a few ways. I'm using AI to answer this question, by the way. Oh, man. Oh, we're so cooked. I mean, what is this reality we're living in? What is this timeline? I'm asking AI about AI. Anyway, it says, yes, Fortnite is incorporating generative AI in a few ways. One notable example is the AI-powered Darth Vader character, which utilizes conversational AI and the late James Earl Jones voice recreated with AI for interactions with players. Additionally, Epic Games is introducing tools for creators to build their own AI-powered customizable NPCs using generative AI within the Unreal editor for Fortnite. Well, there you go. Yeah, you're right. It's already happening. It's already here. The thing that I thought wasn't here yet is already here, and it's happening. Call of Duty, I know they use AI with some of their stuff. Like the developers have used AI for art, but yeah, this is happening very quick. There's an AI mod on Elder Scrolls for NPC. It's funny as hell. You should look it up. Do I want to look it up? What's funny about it, Venino? Yeah, we got 6-finger zombies. Oh, man. It's used everywhere. I just think you're not aware. Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. If it blends in well enough, I shouldn't notice the difference. So, MG, when will you be replaced by the AI version of yourself? Listen, as long as I can, like, I don't know, I guess have ownership. I mean, listen, if I could make an AI version of myself that just does what I'm doing right now for me, so I don't have to do it, I'd still be stressed because I'd be like, I'd be watching right along with you. Like, imagine if right now I was the AI, you know? I was the AI. Right now, you're watching me. You're watching the AI. This is AI MBG, and you know it's the AI is so advanced and it knows me so well. It's absorbed all of my content. It knows me better than me, and it's going to create a version of me that's so believable, you know. And then I'll be like in the chat, you know, just talking with you guys, watching me. I mean, how weird is that? None of us are real. Uh-oh. Hanzo, you still with us, bro? Sounds like we're living in the Matrix. I mean, it definitely sounds like we're in the future. Wait, who's the MBG in the chat? See what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? That could be the future. Where you're going to get, like, even, like, soon I'm going to be clipping myself being upset with myself. I'm going to be clipping AI MBG being like, what is he, an idiot? Why would he say that? Listen to this fool. And it's going to be me. Future's going to be crazy, man. Yeah, dude, I'm literally going to be sitting here like, I'm going to be sitting here talking to you guys being like, yeah, you know, Sony's live service, I don't know what's going on. Meanwhile, the real me is going to be in the chat being like, yeah, I'm playing Death Stranding 2 while watching, you know, watching the AI version of myself right now. Got to keep tabs on it. MBG, people are already questioning if some Twitter or YouTube accounts are AI generated or not. Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that the only thing I do know is every time I upload a video or a stream, there is a setting that I'm supposed to click. It's yes or no. Like, are you using any like AI, anything that's like AI, but is supposed to be someone or something? Like, I have to basically like let YouTube know. I don't know if people lie about that and if YouTube can detect that or not. You can so easily tell when an account is ran by AI. All the responses are like essays. It's dumb. I've encountered that on Twitter. That's why I mean, look, I know that there are real people replying to stuff on Twitter, but you're right, dude. Like some of these responses, it's just like that's an AI. Like who nobody like there are people who do type out books like that, but when they do, they have a certain I don't know how to explain it. Like you can tell if you read a long comment where it's like this is a too long didn't read comment because this person was just very passionate versus this is literally an AI. Like I just input this in an AI and this is what it spit out. You can kind of tell. Now I don't know if that'll always stay that way, but damn Titus. How's the Death Stranding 2 Platinum coming along? It's it's a slow but sure process. I'm in the process. I think I need like 4 more trophies. But right now I'm in the process of trying to 5-star every facility and it is a grind. It is a major grind, dude. Um my like I said earlier in the stream, my main focus is I got to get this done. I got to get this done before Metal Gear comes out. That's the most important thing. How many of the 100K subs are AI? Since we never see more than a few hundred here during a live, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think I think at least you have to imagine at least a couple thousand. I mean, it can't be more than a couple thousand. I think YouTube would purge that, right? I'm not sure. I have no way to know. But there's definitely bot accounts, AI accounts, probably for anybody who has a fair amount of subscribers. Um, it's tough. This is why, like, I know everything's still numbers driven, but I feel like it's been so diminished, man. I just question, like, how much do the numbers really mean anymore? What do they mean? Um, I don't know. The name of the game is you got to chase the higher numbers. The higher the number, the better. But some stuff I see out here that's doing good numbers. I look at it and I'm like, what the fuck even is this? You know what I mean? Like, what is this? What do the numbers mean, Mason? Check out 2 bot comments on your videos today. Oh yeah, I always see those too. Yeah, there's some that are so obvious. I don't even notice them anymore. But that's like another thing is like when it comes to reading stuff. I mean, this is why I kind of am glad that I started streaming when I did because listen, I'm not saying nobody here is an AI, but at least nobody I'm seeing in the chat, I don't think any of you guys are AI. I think maybe sometimes people take certain AI responses they get and maybe like copy and paste it in the chat or something. But Wes, you're the biggest suspect, bro. This transformative content is amazing and has inspired me. Lux has been taken over by the AI, bro. MBG, I saw one AI bot account with a promiscuous picture saying something like, "Oh, your videos make me hot." Dude, I should start responding to them just because it would be so funny. I'm only going to respond to the AI bots. Be like, "Yeah, Yeah, that PlayStation news got you feeling good, huh? What's going on, man? Damn, Wes. Lady Gamer says, I'm really a person, MBG. Lady Gamer's a person. Benino's a person. Chopper Eric is a person. I don't know. I see Hanzo talking about tent poles. Maybe Hanzo's AI. Hanzo is always talking about Terminator. What's going on? Oh, God. Dude, yeah, isn't that a thing, Ray? You're saying I don't think Mrs. MBG would like you talking to bots. Isn't there some kind of like crisis brewing where like men are basically like dating or falling in? Like, you remember that movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix? It's like that, but for like millions of dudes or something. Like, I saw this video pop up on my feed. I didn't watch it because the truth is, like, I just see shit and I'm like, yeah, I bet it is. This video popped up and it was like Japan's population is like dying or something because it was like insinuating that like men are not, they're not dating and they're just like basically using these like AI waifus or whatever. See, it's a Japan thing. But I mean, how long until that, you know, how long until that starts spreading? Whoa. Oh, I missed this super chat. It didn't show up for some reason. Amani B says, "Did you see Herman Hulst's video on tentpole games?" Now I understand why you guys were talking about Herman Hulst's tentpole in the chat. I was very confused. I was like, why are people talking about this? Armani, it depends on which one you're talking about. Are you talking about the one that was like making the rounds on Twitter? Where it was like four people, including Herman Hulst, and they were talking about they were basically like talking about what they're going to be doing with multi-platform. I did see that. Yeah, if that's the one you're talking about. Neo says just got off work. Hope everyone's having a good afternoon. Gonna have to rewind and catch everything. Yeah, I mean, right now I'm just basically totally engaged with the chat, just seeing where the conversations go. Yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty low key day. That's that's AI Herman Holst. Hanzo says, I go to Japan, they call me a playboy. Let's ramp the chat up. MBG Hell is Us Members Lounge demo gameplay. I actually don't know if I'll be able to do a members launch today. I may have to, I'm probably going to have to delegate or relegate, I should say, my members content towards later this week, Thursday, Friday, around that time. You swear Chitoki and Holst were AI in the last earnings call video?
This is an incredibly exciting time for PlayStation.
AI Herman, bro. Hold on. All right. Go see what I've missed. Oh, this is maybe something we can talk about. tomorrow. Oh man. Sorry, yeah, I don't know what's going on. Okay. Yeah, I've just saw like a bunch of things pop up. Something for Resident Evil, more stuff about Helldivers, but the Helldiver stuff we already talked about. Okay. I asked people on Twitter, what's the number one thing PlayStation needs to improve? Somebody says showcase legacy games. Drift issues on controllers. Dude, that's guys, I asked Twitter what's the number one thing PlayStation needs to improve, and the most upvoted is the drift problem on the DualSense. That's crazy. That must be pretty bad. That's pretty bad if that's the most upvoted. It's the most upvoted by like quite a margin as well. Well, get to it, Sony. Get to it. What are we doing? Shift Up highlighted Stellar Blade as the best ever PC performance for a PlayStation exclusive IP at launch by more than 2 times. That's insane. Stellar Blade 192,000 peak Steam concurrent. Ghost of Tsushima is in second place with 77,000. That's crazy, bro. Holy shit. Yeah, I saw that, Ray. Sacred Symbols is streaming now. I think I catch some of it. Hold on. Hold on one sec. Sorry about that. All right. Where am I at here? To be fair, Shift Up only has like 2 IP. Yeah, I mean, Stellar Blade, I think that was a game that Sony was pretty smart to get behind. It just goes to show that like Shuhei Yoshida was responsible for Sony getting involved with Stellar Blade. And Broccoli Rob, I didn't shadow ban your main account. I didn't shadow ban your account, bro. I would never shadow ban Broccoli Rob. Is your is your uh is your account actually? Yeah, no, I didn't ban you, Broccoli Rob. Did any of the mods remove Broccoli Rob? Mods, did anybody? You have several? Oh, okay. He says it's all good. I have several. All right. Lady Gamer said she didn't. Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe it was something you said. Maybe YouTube banned you, bro. Ray says he would never shadow ban him. It's probably something Broccoli Rob probably did it himself, saying something crazy. Wait, is Broccoli Rob the AI? Oh shit. Um, man, it feels like it's a really it's looks like it's going to be another slow news week, man. Got to say. I mean, there is news, but it's like I don't know. All of it's pretty dude, that's crazy. Drumeo uploaded a video. Jelly Roll drummer hears Slayer for the first time. What? Slayer? Imagine hearing Slayer for the first time and then having to drum to it. YouTube messaged you about your language, Hanzo? Thank you, Tarnished. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This stream might end up being a little bit shorter. Possibly. I'm not sure. No, Broccoli Rob. No, she never played that. Yeah, YouTube's using that AI to monitor what everybody's saying. It's summer for sure. Well, you know what's interesting is I'm surprised it took this long. July for all the time I've been doing YouTube and covering games, July is always like the worst month. But this year was different for like the first time. July was actually a really significant month. And now it's looking like August, at least the first half of August. I mean, we have Gamescom coming up and a bunch of games releasing in the second half of August. But so far, August, I think, has proven to be the slowdown month so far. Not to say that there isn't anything going on, but just it's more low key, you know? And that does tell me that September might be really significant. It's going to be really interesting to see what next month is going to be like because every time these slowdown periods happen, it's usually like there's usually a reason for it, you know, kind of like the calm before the storm type stuff. Luna, you want some treats? Yeah. There you go. Luna's a little bit late. Oh yeah, no. August has a ton of games releasing. Ton of great games. Yeah, it's in terms of just the news cycle, not the in terms of games to play and things to, you know, to do, like the reason why we're here, you know, or the reason why anybody's, you know, paying attention. A lot of games to play. It's 28 degrees in Scotland right now. It is 90 degrees outside where I am. It's a pretty hot day. Like I feel hot right now for some reason. Well, I say for some reason. I mean, my home is air conditioned. It's 90 degrees and I feel hot for some reason. You know what I mean? I feel hotter than I normally do, even when it's 90 degrees and the air is on. I'm not sure why. We go by Fahrenheit. Well, yeah, I don't know. You say 28 degrees. I don't know if you meant Fahrenheit or not. MBG, I'm being attacked by 100 other replies in a comment section because I said Battlefield 5 wasn't historically inaccurate. Or maybe you meant say accurate. You're saying, never mind, don't read that. $89.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Sorry for the radio silence. Alrighty. Well, at least the PS5 is pretty cool thanks to liquid cooling, liquid metal cooling. Astroland is not as hot, at least. I feel like we've been hearing all generation that the liquid cooling, liquid metal cooling of the PS5 is going to end up like destroying them or something if you keep them vertical. Gamers say Battlefield 5 is woke, and I said it's not, and then I got eaten alive. That's the gist of it. MBG, do you think Sony should get more credit for their single player? I think you meant to say single player first party games that have come out. I mean, yeah, sometimes I do feel like that. Other times I kind of understand why they don't. I just feel like people are kind of crazy when they're like, you know, they make it seem like this gen hasn't had any good games. And I'm like, well, that's like you're a little out of your mind if you think that. But I also understand that, you know, most of the games that Sony released were sequels. And in some cases, in like the case of Naughty Dog, just remakes and remasters. So I totally get it. I understand why like people would have expected more by now. But I just think it's weird that some people make it seem like you know, they play it from every angle where it's like, well, Astrobot doesn't count. Like, oh, okay. It's like, yeah, and Horizon and God of War don't count because they're just direct sequels. It's like, oh, okay. You know, it's like, and so, you know, all you have is Returnal or whatever. And it's like, well, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe it's just people struggling to get conditioned to the fact that some of these AAA games, or most of them, they're just going to take years to make, man. You know, these studios are becoming a one game studio at a time. Ray says, so then Xbox really has no games. That's what we meant to say, Ray. Okay, I gotta let Luna out now. She just came in the feed. You think it's because of the live service push? Hmm. I mean, it could have been. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's reasonable to think. It's reasonable to think that like if Naughty Dog didn't spend time making a live service Last of Us game just to then cancel it, that they would have had a game out by now. Maybe Intergalactic would already be out. I think that's reasonable to think. I mean, Blue Point, Sony Bend, these are all studios that if they didn't go in the direction of live service, they probably would have had something ready to go. So yeah, I think yeah, I think there's truth to that, and that's why I settle on. I don't think this generation was like horrible. I don't think it was horrible. And I do think it was generally good. I mean, I don't know. People are going to really disagree with that, but I think it was pretty good. You know, it was good. Could have been a lot better. I will always say that like what could have been is probably what could have been. I think will partially define the PlayStation 5 generation, and that will be because they wasted a lot of time, resources, and money on failed live service projects that, you know, especially teams that should have and could have been making single player games. Do I watch combat sports? Not usually, no. I see clips. I see clips that pop up. Lion crying, dancing Jim Ryan. Well, yeah, I don't know. It feels like Sony basically decided. Decided back, I would say in like 2018, 2019, when they were building up to the PS5 gen. That's when they decided that they wanted to go all in with live service and, go in that direction. But it seems like now with completely new leadership, they're in agreement that they want to go in that direction. But now this is the new leadership that says we're going to go in a more multi-platform direction while doing that. Because it seems like Jim Ryan, the furthest he was willing to go was maybe like backporting games to PC. But ever since Jim Ryan retired and the reins were given to Hiroki Totoki and Hideaki Nishino and Herman Holst, it seems like, yeah, they're all in agreement that they're going to go in a more multi-plat direction. You think people say this gen wasn't as good because they had extremely high expectations. They expected PS5 to blow past PS4 in both quality and quantity, but it ended up just being good, at least to me. Yeah, I think that's a fair evaluation. I think that's a pretty fair evaluation. I mean, I know that for some people, this generation has just been awful. Like they just really didn't like the output at all. Um, I do try to remind people the generation's not over. It's hard not to talk about it in the past tense because we're seeing all these rumors about the PS6 pop up. But at the same time, though, like I don't know. At the same time, you just kind of you look at the PS4 gen and even the PS3 gen, and you realize that like the things that people look back on most fondly were it was all stuff that happened in the second half. And I think we're past the second half now. Like we are now beyond that point, but there's still time. There's still time for some of the biggest, most generational defining games to drop from Sony and just in general. Broccoli Rob says I couldn't care less about Sony going multiplat. That revenue is used to put out more quality software. That's what we as a community enjoy. Yeah. Yeah. With PS5 becoming the old PS4, how long do you think Sony supports it? 8 more years? Yeah, actually. Keanu's going to be in the next Expendables movie? Bro, wait, they're still making Expendables movies? But yeah, I think the PS5 is going to be truthfully, I think the PS5 is going to be the longest supported console ever. Even with the PS6 out. I don't know how long the PlayStation 6 generation is going to be, but I think the PS5 is going to be I think devs are not going to want to leave the PS5 for a very 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 long time. I could be wrong about that, but I don't know, man. I in my title it says PS4 support is coming to an end. It's coming from a report from games industry where they're saying that they're hearing like all major live service games are going to be ending support for PS4 finally starting next year. And it's like, dude, the PS6 is rumored to release in 2027. So you're telling me they're going to end last gen support 1 year before we get the next gen. That's the PS4, dude. Like I think the PS5 is going to be supported through the I don't think yeah, I think the PS5 is going to be supported throughout the entire gen. I think the PS5 is the PS6S. That's what I settle on at this point. Cuz Sony would have to get aggressive to make that not a thing. In order for the PS5 to not be this PS6s, Sony would have to be very aggressive in letting developers know that we want you to move on. We want you to move, we want to kind of force you. And I don't think Sony's going to do that. Why would they? You'd purchase GTA 6 even if it was priced at $120. MBG, it's crazy that in the future there will be no more Xbox games in retro gaming stores, but there will be Xbox games on PlayStation physically. Oh man. That is fucking weird. Dude, that's so weird. The gap in hardware limitations will be a lot closer between PS5 and 6 versus 4 and 5. Well, I mean, I think a problem that Sony may face with the PlayStation 6 is that people are just not going to stop buying PS5s. You know, like I think Sony will release a new console and it'll be really nice, really high end, best console Sony's ever made. I think people are just going to keep buying PS5s and Sony's going to be like, uh-oh. Am I picking up Gears on disc from Amazon? Maybe. I don't think I'm going to play Gears, but yeah, that kind of feels like something I might want to buy physically to collect. Halo ODST and Helldivers 2 can't wait for Kratos to team up with Marcus Phoenix against the Locust. Dude, that would be wild. Yo, could you imagine? No, my main reason for I might try Gears, I'm not sure, but it's timing based, man. It's timing based. Like like I said, I need to finish Death Stranding. I'm trying to clear the way for Metal Gear. I don't want anything in the way. MBG question: which studio do you think was Sony's best pickup? I want to say Naughty Dog. I feel like Naughty Dog's the obvious answer, but could be Gorilla. Could be Gorilla. Well, because think about it. Think about it. Gorilla made the Decima engine. That's an engine that's greatly benefited Sony. They gave them the Killzone games, and then they gave them Horizon series. That studio did a lot. I mean, Gorilla was purchased in 2005, right after they shipped Killzone 1. So it could be Gorilla. Insomniac's huge. Yeah, Insomniac's a big one. Yeah, I mean, but it's hard. I mean, when you look at Naughty Dog, man, Naughty Dog was purchased in 2001 by Sony. You know what's crazy? Like, did you guys know Naughty Dog's a 40-year-old studio? Like, that blows my mind. I did not realize they were that old of a studio. Like, I thought that they were like a 30-year-old studio or something. Michael says, I'm in the frozen pizza aisle. Choose between Red Baron, Elio's, Celeste, DiGiorno, Stouffer's, or Wild Mike's. Oh man, that's a tough choice. Well, I have a follow-up question, Michael. That question is, are you looking for like a whole pizza to make? Because I mean, you said Elio's. Elio's gives you sheets of pizza. Like if you're going for a whole pizza, I mean, DiGiorno's pretty good though. I was gonna say Red Baron. DiGiorno's actually pretty good though too. Not gonna lie. You get like the rising crust. Oh, it's just okay. So it's just for you, Michael. Hmm. I mean, I feel like you got to go with Red Baron, dude. I love Red Baron. I eat a lot of Elios though too. I do like DiGiorno though. I mean, I Stouffer's. I don't think I've ever had Wild Mike's though. But Stouffer's, I have those like flatbreads or whatever, like pizza flatbreads. Those are pretty good. Man, pizza's so good. I've been eating Red Baron for a long time though. I mean, my favorite Red Baron pizza is the I'm gonna have to try it. Yeah, I've never had Wild Mike's. My favorite Red Baron is the Supreme. So good. So good. You went with Red Baron. Good choice. Good choice. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Red Baron. I mean, some people don't like it because it's slightly thinner crust, but it's so good. It's so good. The problem with eating a Red Baron, you gotta be careful though, man. You eat a whole Red Baron pizza, that's a lot of salt. He says, "When I get out, I will contribute to your efforts." Michael's going to contribute to our efforts. We helped him. We helped him choose. We helped him with a critical decision that needed to be made. That is a tough one though, man. Like when you're food shopping and you're in the pizza aisle. I mean, there's so many choices. That's probably why I've never had Wild Mike's because there's so many. There's so many pizza options. I'm already overwhelmed with like 3 or 4 options, and then there's probably like in total like 12 or 13 or some crazy shit like that. Motor City deep dish pizza is pretty good. You know, you want to talk about the best slice of pizza you ever had? That's a tough one, dude. I mean, I've eaten a lot of pizza in my lifetime. All right. I don't want to reveal where I live, but what I will tell you guys is and I told you this many times, I live on the Northeast, and where I'm at, there's pizza everywhere. There's fucking pizza everywhere, dude. Like, we got the pizza. There's just too much pizza. Um, and I mean that. I'm not kidding. Like, it's crazy how many pizza places there are. Not just literally in like my town, but just in the general vicinity of where I live. Um, and so when it comes to the best slice of pizza I've ever had, there's this is a deep cut, dude, and I can't say the name of the place. Well, honestly, it didn't really have a name. Basically, when I was younger, my dad would take me to um this place we just called like the Mart. And this was such a weird place, dude. It was like I'm gonna be honest, it was like a ghetto mall. Is what it was like. It was like a ghetto mall. But my dad loved it. I don't know. He just loved it. There was just I don't know why, but he always took me there every weekend. But the first thing you would be greeted with when you went to this weird ghetto mall um, was a pizza place. And every time my dad would take me, the first thing he would do is get me a slice of pizza that I could eat while I was like we were walking around. And I feel like I don't know what the name of that place was. I mean, this was in like some kind of I feel like it didn't even have a name, the place. I just knew that the guy that ran it was really nice and he always recognized me and my father. Um and my he would always get me a slice and I just always remember like it was like looking back on it, like I think that was just the best tasting pizza I ever had. It was amazing. And I think I've had places that got pretty close. It's just such a shame because that place I'm referring to ended up closing down, this ghetto mall place or whatever. Again, I don't know if it actually had a name, but my father always just referred to it as the Mart. Um, and it's such a strange place, man. Looking back at it, like looking back on it, it almost feels like a fucking fever dream. And and to be honest, it wasn't just the pizza that they had that was good. They had all these unique like food shops that like they had like a kebab place and whatever. They were like amazing, and it was just like this is like where am I? But that may have been the best pizza I've ever had. I mean, I have a lot of places around me that are really good. There's another place. Um, basically, you guys know the story with me. Yeah, it was basically like a flea market. Yeah, that's yeah, that would be what you would call it. Um, and you guys know when I was a teenager, I was all into skateboarding. So pretty much all summer, what I would do from between the ages 12 and 13, I would be skating all day, all throughout the town I lived in. And there was this one place, and it was actually it was it was it was in this like little shopping area. It was really tiny. It's like a one-stop shop next to it, and like you could, it was easily overlooked. But one day, me and my buddy, we were, my. It's funny because like looking back on it, it just go. It's I feel like I'm one of these people now where it's like, oh, how much things used to cost back in my day. Now everything's expensive. And Michael Wernick comes in. This is his reward for us. Michael Wernick comes in and drops 20 member gifts for you guys. Because we helped him pick out the best frozen pizza you can get. Red Baron. Not sponsored. Michael, thank you so much for that, buddy. Michael's been coming in here dropping major support for you guys in the last couple of weeks.
Holy shit!
I have to buy a couple Red Baron pizzas with those membership gifts, Michael. And with that, we are now. Jax is good. Garrett, no, you're not wrong. Jax is really good too. You're not wrong about that. I forgot about Jax. See, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. There's like it's kind of criminal how many options there are. There's too many. But we're now at 45 members, guys. So Michael comes in, drops 20 member gifts. It's my voice. Sorry about that. My if my voice was too quiet, that's my bad. Sometimes when I go to mute the mic, I accidentally lower the gain, so I apologize. But Michael says that's him eating pizza. Yo, hold on. I'm gonna play this soundbite because it made me laugh the other day. I found it. I want to see if I can find it. Okay, so this soundbite I'm gonna play. This is pretty much, this is PlayStation fans when they find out Spider-Man is going to Xbox, or vice versa. This is Xbox fans when they find out Halo is coming to PlayStation. If you guys know who that is, come on, you absolutely know who that is. Holy shit, that sounds amazing in isolation, though. Amazing. Dude, I was dying when I came across that the other day. I was dying. Oh. Dude, Courage was amazing. You know what it is a goated show. You know what's crazy about Courage the Cowardly Dog, though, is it was genuinely a terrifying show. Like, growing up watching as a kid, it was one of those things where, like, it did freak me out, but I couldn't stop watching. I mean, there's so many there's just something very disturbing about Courage where you could watch it as an adult, and it's maybe it's even more unsettling as an adult. Like, you remember that there was that episode with that one guy, he was like a barber or something, but he was treated like Hannibal Lecter, like he was some kind of maniac, you know? Like, there's something just very wrong with him, but he had this weird fixation with cutting hair. And it's something innocent, like just cutting hair, like it's not actually, you know what I mean? But they had this way of framing it where it's like he's some kind of, like, you would think he's some kind of monster doing some of the most horrific things, and they were just able to frame it so well. Return the slab. Oh God. Yeah. Oh. Courage is so unsettling, man. Hold on, let me see. Now I'm curious. Let's see, Courage the Cowardly Dog. Scariest moments. This is what the stream is turning into, man. It has to happen. The naughty. Oh my God. There's so much wrong with this show, dude. From Herman Hulst to Courage. It's how it's got to be. Hold on. Sorry, I always got to do this on the fly.
Return the slab.
What?
Return the slab, or suffer my curse.
What's your offer?
This night you will be visited by 3 plagues, each worse than the last. Return the slab.
Ha! Nice try, Professor.
Bro. Oh, man. The memories. The memories. Isn't Cartoon Network, like, completely gone? Dude, yeah, the show gave me night. There was, I'm trying to remember, there was one specific episode that actually genuinely terrified me, and I can't remember which one it was. Hold on. Let me. 5. It says the top 5 most unpleasant Courage the Cowardly Dog moments.
We interrupt this program to...
Dude, hold on. Bro, what is what is that thumbnail? Hold on, what is that thumbnail next to the video? I don't know. I don't know what that thumbnail is, bro. I'm sorry. I don't know why that's there.
with her husband, Eustace Bane!
What?
Help! Help! Help!
Courage. Do not be afraid. I have the cure you seek. It will take 3 days, and in 3 days, I will be cut down.
What?
just know something bad is going to happen. Huh?
Bro, it's funny watching this shit because, like, yeah, I remember seeing that as a kid. It's like, yo, what the fuck? Courage's voice actor is goated too. He is. Yeah, that's some funny shit, man. Absolutely cursed. Hold on, though. I gotta pop the chat out. We're just shooting the shit at this point. What?
You're not perfect.
Bella Ramsey. Dude, that scream is amazing. That scream is the best.
What?
Oh my.
Would you look at that?
It's a floating head.
I was talking about that leaky pipe. Waste of money. Gotta fix that leaky pipe.
You're no farmer.
And two.
Are not.
Stubborn
Dude,
is what
this-
you are.
And not.
What was wrong with this show?
At least I got arms and legs. You don't even got a neck. Ha ha ha.
Get out of my face.
Make me.
Wait until midnight comes around.
What?
We'll come back for it when the heat's off.
And we'll be rich.
Hey! What happened to the road?
Return the slab, or suffer my
It always comes back to
curse.
Return the Slab.
Curse?
What curse?
Rich. Fly swatter. Spark plug.
Sony players with their
shovel
exclusives,
handle,
bro.
razor blade, light bulb for the attic.
Return the slab.
What?
Return the slab, or suffer my curse.
What's your offer?
This night you will be visited by 3 plagues, each worse than the last.
Dude, you know what's crazy?
Return the slab.
This video I'm reacting to is 13 years old, bro.
Nice try, Professor. Who's he kidding? I can see the zipper on that cheap dime store costume.
The Returnal boss.
Return the slab.
What's your offer? It's mine! Eh? That's 3 plagues. You're out of ammo, mister. And don't think you can come around here pushing no tote bags on us, neither. What's your offer?
Return the slab.
Yo, Eustace was a funny character. All right, well, guys, listen, I have to click this one. I'm really afraid. I don't know what this video is, dude. Do you see this thumbnail? Do you see this thumbnail? Hold on, we got a direct donation from Rich Rod. So, guys, the Rich Rod tax is in effect. 5 more memberships. We need 5 more. Have to make it happen. All right. Rich Rod says, Colt and Jez love Halo so much equals they role play together and say, quote, "Hey, gentlemen, we are the stars of the Halo. Replace the H with a G. We are the stars of Galo. Respect the ABC peeps, by the way." Rich Rod said, "Yo, I respect it, but they're kind of gay." Thank you, Rich Rod. Oh man, what's even going on, man? Where are we? Oh jeez. All right, I feel like I'm gonna have to click this. Rich Rod, thank you for the donation, bro. Oh wait, Gaming Survivor sent a direct? No. No. Rich, I read your direct. Gaming Survivor says Courage is scared reactions basically every day on gaming YouTube. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, bro. All right. I may really regret click. You know what? I shouldn't do that. I don't think I should do. I mean, this video, I don't know. Do you think this video is safe? It's got 4.4 million views.
Ouais, c'est ça.
I heard that once you're able to complete the
Oh man. You know, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Ray's like, nope.
300-pound grip strength, then something crazy happens.
Oh my. No. No. Oh man, that escalated really quick. What the fuck was that? Dude. No. No, dude. Oh my god. Oh jeez.
Oh, yeah. This how we do it? The game pit, man.
Holy shit.
Time to talk about Jesus Christ today. Oh, you're dead? Oh, okay. Well, you have yourself a blessed day.
Okay, you too.
You must.
Hey, bro, right here, G. You see my hand? You see my hand, bro? Right here. Give it to me. Give it to me, G. Man, get your bitch.
So, Vorsicht, da kommt ein Fahrradfahrer. Hey, hallo! Polizei!
20.
$40,000, $3 million, $18, $40 million.
Together is so.
I woke up in a new Bugatti.
Hi. Hey, wait a second. You got something stuck in your eye. Let me get it out for you. Oh, it's me.
Dude. Oh. I don't know, man. I don't know how we got here. I don't know how we got here, bro.
Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. You can say it for real. My.
Dude, oh man, this portion of the stream is clearly gonna have to be cut out, bro. This is Michael Wernick's fault. Michael Wernick did this. Dude, oh man. Well, guys, if today's stream goes private and gets deleted, you know why. I'm sorry. I didn't listen. I wasn't planning on watching this video with you guys, but the thumbnail was there, and how could I not click on it? Dude went out on a high note.
What the fuck? I ain't do that.
Man, wait, you better be careful.
Hey, what for?
I can't even do that.
I've been doing this for years, man.
Okay, mi gente. Blah, 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 blah.
Holy shit, dude. Oh my god, what? Dude.
Explota la diversión para toda la familia. Ven a subirte al huracán. Anímate a vivir la experiencia de la rueda de la fortuna. El increíble y número uno de América.
I want you to take a deep breath. 1, 2, and say out.
Ô, Jay. Tem alguém te seguindo?
What is that? So stupid.
Where my phone go? Hey, where my
We've officially reached brain rot status on the channel, guys.
Yes, you can.
I can't wait. I guess it helped me.
Bro, how are you just gonna sit there laughing at your kid?
Try to relax your anus.
Big black Australop cockerel. One of 500 birds that are being judged today at the show.
I don't even know.
Dude, that... Alright, I don't know, man. That one... The one with the chicken, or the rooster, or whatever, dude. What the hell, man? This is clearly supposed to be a members lounge. Try to relax your triple anus.
I can say this, and y'all gonna laugh at me.
I'm not gonna laugh at you.
I promise you, we're not gonna laugh. When I grew up, right, and I remember.
The woman was too stunned to speak.
Cause that was just about, that's my shit. I want
What's going
this.
on? Like she came out of PUBG.
I want all that. I want this. I want.
Come on, come on.
Oh man.
Come on, now pull. Come on.
I stood outside with my peener out, like usual. That's when I hear the bells approaching of the peener snipper guy.
Look what I got at Home Depot, bro.
We are sending the first rat to the moon, boys.
Documents were in place. Buford, you listening? Now get this. That's when the subcommittee had to reallocate.
Y'all, look at my son in the back seat, man. Got my son.
You ain't getting no ice cream, nigga.
Dedication to different character things. Listen, thank you that I got here, so.
Toma, sabor ko.
He said, "Bless you, thank you." Bro, what?
Hey, get the fuck out of here.
Miss Ann, say your last name for me again.
Supanika.
Supanika! These hoes taking my cash and get my dough, bro.
I can't be your mother.
What's your wildest subway experience?
I came in front, I seen a pigeon get on for one stop and then get off on the next one. Like, you could have flew there, man.
Sin goteras.
All right. That's it, man. That's it. I can't keep going. I got to save it for the when we do another members lounge. Goddamn. I saw a pigeon get on for one stop and then get off another stop. He could have flew. Bro. Oh, man. So anyway, about Sony's live service. No, I'm just kidding. Damn, dude. Well, there we go. Michael Warneth made that possible. Let me bring the chat back up. All right. Well, I don't know where we go from there. Dude, I don't know. That one where the dude was holding the rooster and the rooster went crazy and he started screaming, that was pretty damn funny. That was pretty damn funny. What do we think? Should we just keep going or should we call it here? I'm not sure. Why is it so hot in here, dude? Double shooter timestamp for the ages on that one. I command you to private the stream. Well, I don't know. I don't know if anything's going to get copyrighted. What game should I get from the Gamefly sale? First Berserker or Wukong? Well, are they the same price? I haven't checked Gamefly in a long time. Gamefly, they actually, yeah, they have usually a pretty good PS5 game selection. And they do drop the prices pretty low because they're just trying to get rid of it. They don't want to hold on to it. Wukong's $34. I feel like that's a good price. Holy shit. Dude, you should get Black Myth Wukong. I mean, I'm on Amazon, dude. That's $60 on Amazon. Let me see. Dude, that's a steal. You should definitely get Black Myth Wukong if it's only $34. Yo, holy shit, I'm about to get that. You said this was on GameFly? Was it the PS5 bargain bin? Is that what they call it? Bro, Doom the Dark Ages, $35? Is that? Yo, what? That's that's kind of crazy. Yo, these prices are crazy. Well, on my end, it says the first Berserker sold out. Elden Ring Night Rain, $25. This is wild. Dude, if you go on Amazon, Elden Ring Night Rain is like $37. You get it for $25 on GameFly. They got Doom the Dark Ages at $35. Wait, hold on. Hold on, though. On my end, it says Black Myth Wukong is $61. Where did you see that it was 34? I'm on a I'm on a GameFly. Mind's Eye, $35. United Assault Normandy, $13. Yo, I'm about to just buy some games. Soon, anyway. Alone in the Dark, $20. Quiet Place, The Road Ahead, $15. See, this is the shit that I like to do. Sometimes just find these cheap ass PS5 games that I'll probably never play, but just throw them in because they're so cheap. What's the cheapest game on here? Cheapest PS5 game I'm seeing. I think so far the cheapest I've seen is $15. We got Astrobot for $40. No, they have NBA 2K25, $10. So what's the cheapest PS5 game on Amazon? I wonder where like the cheapest PS5 game is you can buy. It's probably gotta be something like $9 or something, right? PS5 games. We'll do. Trying to sort it. The lowest it'll let me go is to $8. Yo, what? There's a copy of Godfall here for $4, but $8 delivery. You're gonna buy Godfall and pay more for the delivery. They have Rainbow Six. Well, that's a PS4 game. Why are they showing me 360 games? Amazon seems kind of broken. Yeah, I don't know, man. Gamefly is a good. If you like to buy games physically, Gamefly is a good place to check from time to time. They have some good stuff. I think. I think the reason why they're able to sell some of these games for so cheap is because they buy them in bulk. You know, like a retailer, and they rent them out. Obviously, that's their whole thing. But once they're kind of out of circulation or whatever, it just seems like they just got to get rid of it. I don't. I wonder how that business model works for them. All right. Well, yeah, this might be a good place to call it. All right. Yeah. So obviously, the stream went completely off the rails after we stopped talking about video games. I probably just should have done a. Well, to be fair, if I did the members lounge, Michael dropped 20 more member gifts for you guys, so we probably wouldn't have gotten that. So I don't regret it. But I will have to apologize in advance again if this stream goes away. It will be because I accidentally, I was watching some videos with you guys. I always got to be careful to do that. That has got my channel in so much trouble multiple times, and you would think I would learn by now just not to do it. But you got that and Slitterhead. Well, dude, where did you see that Black Myth Wukong was $34? Because I went on their website and it said $61. So I don't know, man. But either way, not a bad deal. All right, guys. I think that's gonna wrap up today's stream. Oh, it was used and sold out. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I should have a stream tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, I'll have to see, right? Because like I feel like part of the reason why today's stream kind of turned into this was because I really didn't have much to talk about. I mean, we had a couple of topics, but there's, things are a little bit quiet right now. But we'll see. I mean, a lot could happen. A lot could come out between. You never know. It's on a day by day basis. If there's no news tomorrow, maybe I'll think of an interesting topic we can discuss for a little bit. Something a little, that's not necessarily news based. So just make sure you have notifications turned on. But yeah, that's going to wrap up today's stream, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it. It's a little bit different. But I appreciate you hanging out with me. I want to make sure to give a big thank you to everybody who dropped support today. We did end up hitting 45 members, which is great to see, especially on such a slow day. So thank you guys so much for that. If you dropped any super chats or direct donations, I completely rely on you guys to be able to do this. We don't do sponsorships. We're totally fan funded. So thank you all for, making this possible. And shout out to Devil Shooter, who does the timestamps for all the streams. If you guys see Devil Shooter in the comments, show him some love. Give him some thanks. I know he really appreciates it. He does a great job. And yeah, so that will conclude this cursed podcast episode, which may or may not be private after this. So we'll find out. But guys, Jake, yeah, we had a pretty good stream, man. It was a little bit of a cursed stream. It was an okay stream. But yeah, please enjoy the rest of your day. I did put out a little video earlier talking about the Helldivers Halo thing. You go check that out, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. So, all right, guys, I will catch you in the next one. Until then, take care, everyone.